ฮัลโหลฮัลโหลฮัลโหลค่ะโอเคค่ะ so first of all good afternoon everybody so we have a few minutes to prepare the system. I just wonder that if any of like everyone hears my voice through this microphone, please just maybe raise your hand or just give a thumb on the chat box. ก็น่าจะได้ยินอยู่เราปิดไมค์นะโฮสต์ยังขึ้นว่าปิดไมค์อยู่นะอ๋อHi, good afternoon. Just want to make sure that everyone here hear my voice. Can you like oh okay ค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ thank you so much. So I think we have 2 more minutes to wait for the participants. So first of all I kindly ask everyone here if you can change your name, start with the city underscore and put your name in there, so it would be easier for us to like run the Q&A session. And then secondly, we will have an online photo session after the opening remarks. So we will ask you to open your camera, and if you're not comfortable with it, it's fine. So we're going to like capture this moment because I think this is very phenomenal, like time that we got together across the world. All right, so let me introduce myself before we start the event. I think we have all the key person from session 1 with us here, online and on site. So my name is Ajira Papradit. So I'm the one who sent everybody email and then contact you after all. And then really, I'm very happy to be here, and I'm going to be your host of today. And next to me, both sides, we have like our advisor and the project leader that are very important for us. So I will let them introduce yourself. Start with the one on my right hand.
Thank you so much. So, hi everyone. My name is Pratthana Jaipong, or go by my nickname Add, like additive addition, because I'm doing math. So glad to see you all here. Currently, I serve as the assistant to the president at Chiang Mai University, in charge on Chiang Mai University lifelong education and also sustainability development strategy for the university. Nice to see you all here today.
And on my left.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
I think it's working.
Is it working? Okay. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. I'm very excited to be joining this forum today on the learning cities. And my name is Alexandra Dennis. I'm a cultural anthropologist by training, and I've been working with the UNESCO Convention on Intangible Cultural Heritage for many years now, over 10 years, and that is my personal area of expertise. But I was invited to join the Chiang Mai Learning City initiative to support the process of applying for the Chiang Mai Learning City Award. And that was a very rewarding and rich experience. So I'm glad to have the opportunity to come and share some thoughts about that.
Thank you so much. So we have received a lot of attention. So to be honest with all of you, like we didn't really expect this event to be this big. But anyway, I think it's a good time now. So let me say something very formal here. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the UNESCO GNLC Strategic Exchange. So our theme today is mechanism for creating and sustaining learning city ecosystem. So we are very delighted to welcome truly global audience today with international delegates and speakers around the world. So this strategic webinar is proudly hosted by the Knowledge Network Institute of Thailand, or CNITS, in collaboration with Chiang Mai University. And we will have 3 insightful sessions from now until like 4:30, roughly. Hopefully we can finish everything on time. And to officially kick off session 1, which focus on the Thai context and our research blueprints, it is my distinct honor to invite Associated Professor Bawon Papasarathorn, Executive Director of Knowledge Network Institute of Thailand, to deliver welcome remarks. Please welcome Mr. Bawon on the floor.
Hello, from Bangkok. Good afternoon to our distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and participants joining us from across Thailand, and I hope across the world. It is my great honor and privilege to welcome you to this strategic exchange on mechanism for creating and sustaining learning city ecosystem. Very important. This event hosted by the Knowledge Network Institute of Thailand in collaboration with Chiang Mai University. My first sincere thanks go to Professor Pratthana from Chiang Mai University for leading the research that make today's discussion become possible. I would like to express my deepest appreciation to our valued partners from UNESCO, especially the UNESCO Regional Office in Bangkok and the UNESCO Institute for Lifelong Learning for your continued leadership, your guidance, and your commitment to advancing lifelong learning globally. I'm also truly honored by the presence of Ms. Michaela Fribourg-Story, the United Nations Resident Coordinator in Thailand, and especially all distinguished speakers and city representatives who have generously joined us today. I hope today's exchange is not just a meeting, but I hope it will become a meaningful opportunity for shared learning and collaboration. I'm deeply grateful to all international experts and representatives from leading learning cities, including Okayama City in Japan and cities from the Republic of Korea, for your contributing valuable experience and insight. Your participation reflects the true spirit of the global network of learning cities where knowledge is shared openly and progress is achieved together. As we explore the Thai context through research led by Professor Pratthana and practical experience, we are equally inspired by the global perspective brought by UNESCO and our international partner. Your experience is valuable for our progress in the future. I hope our discussion today will focus on 3 strategic areas. The first one is why, understanding the driving force behind transformation of city. The second one is how, ensuring long-term sustainability beyond recognition and award. Again, sustainability beyond recognition and awards. The third one is impact. So from our discussion today, we should have a good way for measuring meaningful improvement in people quality of life. I hope these conversations are enriched by the collective wisdom and active engagement of everyone here today. To the representative of the 12 Thai learning cities and to all participants, again, thank you for your dedication. Thank you for your openness to learn and your commitment to advancing lifelong learning in your communities. Your presence, your contribution are what make this exchange truly valuable. I hope we can make the most from this opportunity to learn from one another, to strengthen our partnerships and move forward together towards sustainable and inclusive learning city, especially in the time of crisis just like this in the world. Thank you so much, and I wish you all a highly productive and inspiring session.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bawon, so for your welcoming word. So I've just got like some information about technical problem for our delegate. So can we just wait a little bit more minute while we're waiting for like her to register in, because she's very important for this event. But thank you so much, Dr. Pawan, again, because this project happened through the collaborative idea between KNIT and Chiang Mai University. And among all of that, because Chiang Mai, not just Chiang Mai University, Chiang Mai as a city is also part of the GNLC member. And today I think it is a really great opportunity for like countries around the world, whether they're like awarded GNLC city or whether they're just member of GNLC. If I may speak in Thai to inform some of the city that need some assistance in terms of like translation. สำหรับเมืองในประเทศไทยนะคะใน Zoom จะมีตัวให้เลือก transcript ที่แปลนะคะจากภาษาท่านสามารถเลือกภาษาได้นะคะเป็นภาษาไทยเป็นภาษาอังกฤษนะคะก็เพื่อให้สะดวกต่อการเข้าใจนะคะ
Okay, so while we're waiting for Nicholas to come to the system, maybe I can talk a little bit about the background of how we think about this research and where it's come from. So again, good afternoon, everybody here. I'm very excited to see you guys all here from, all the growth. So I'll let me start out from, very simple question, right? So think about people in your city, right? For example, an elderly people who just like to learn new skill. It can be simple as, a grandmom trying to use a video call, to her grandchild, but she doesn't even know where to start. Or even, younger generation where whose skill are very good, very talented, but school has not even recognized it. Or even, immigrant workers who they have children growing up in this rapidly changed world. My question is, does your city has a system that cater for all of these people? We're talking about system. We're not talking about one-time project, but it's the lasting system where education can be catered for everyone. So this is the real meanings of lifelong learning city or lifelong learning city, right? So that's the meaning of how city can cater learning to everyone. It's not a certificate. It's not a status, but it's a city commitment on ensuring learning can be offered to every resident in every stage of life. So UNESCO Learning City framework gives city structure and also global community make this happening. Our colleagues from UNESCO will tell you more a bit about, what is the framework of UNESCO Learning City. So I won't get into the detail on that much, but I just want to add in on, joining the network itself is a beginning, not a destination, right? So Thailand nowadays, we have 13 certified member cities. This is something that we really proud of. And also, each of the cities say, we believe on learning. Learning is a public good, and we are willing to be held to the standards, right? But to be honest, we should ask ourselves after we receive the certificate, so what's next, right? Because as we mentioned, learning is not just a certificate, it's not just a status, but we always have to ask So what's the impact that we really make, right? So that's where our research begin. Now that we have Miss Magella is already in here, so I will come back a little bit more, but then maybe I can give these moments to Miss Magella first, right?
Thank you so much for Professor Pratana to helping us solving some minor problem. I think this is common for online meeting. So next, it's our pleasure and honor to welcome Ms. Marina Pratio, Deputy Director of UNESCO Regional Office in Bangkok and Office for UN Coordination.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Associate Professor Dr. Borwan Paspas Raton, Executive Director of the Knowledge. Can you hear me? Yeah. People seems to hear me well. Yeah, thank you. So Associate Professor Dr. Borwan, Executive Director of the Knowledge Network Institute of Thailand, Mrs. Michaela Friedberg-Story, our UN Resident Coordinator in Thailand, distinguished representative from our UNESCO Global Network of Learning Cities, colleagues, participants joining us from across the world today. Very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. 13 years ago in Beijing, UNESCO asked a bold question. What if a city itself could become a classroom? Not just its schools or university, but its libraries, its parks, workplaces, and neighborhoods. What if an entire city could learn? So that question actually gave birth to the UNESCO Global Network of Learning Cities, as you know today, the GNLC. And today this question has been answered, not in theory, but by you, by cities. We have 425 cities across 91 countries, and you have said yes. 145 of them are right here in Asia and the Pacific, making lifelong learning a reality for nearly 500 million people. So on this webinar today, we have over 30 UNESCO learning cities from our continents, from 4 continents across Europe, Latin America, Asia, and Africa. Among them are cities that have walked this path for a decade, actually, Okayama, Osan, and Suwon, all UNESCO Learning City Award winners. And they did not just receive a title, they build lasting learning ecosystem. They move from celebration to sustainability. And that is exactly the journey for Thailand. Thailand is on this journey with the support of Thailand Learning City partners, with the support of UNESCO. And as our colleagues was mentioning early, with 13 UNESCO learning cities and more than 30 national learning cities, Thailand is really a regional leader in Southeast Asia. And our city today, thanks so much to Chiang Mai, is a UNESCO GNLC member since 2020. And this is really a testament to that momentum. So yet across this network, a common challenge persists. 91% of learning cities have formalized lifelong learning commitments into city-level strategy. That's very positive. So the foundation is there. But vision and lasting impact, between that, a critical question remains. How to secure sustainable financing for lifelong learning? And this is where we must be bold. We need models where private sector, civil society, government co-invest in lifelong learning, because it's really a collective benefit. And the question is no longer why invest in a learning city, it is how. How to make learning ecosystem not just inspiring, but permanent. These are the questions at the heart of today's exchange. And our colleagues from the UNESCO Institute for Lifelong Learning, practitioners from award-winning cities are here to help us answer them. So let us listen, share, challenge each other, because every learning city that finds a sustainable path forward brings us closer to SDG 4, Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is inclusive and equitable quality education and lifelong learning for all. To every city joining this event today as part of the global network of Learning City, UNESCO stands ready to support capacity strengthening and to help this movement grow. And for example, next November, we will co-organize the ASEAN +4 Regional Learning City Conference with Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. And we are very much looking forward to further exchanges across region and regionally in building an inclusive and resilient and sustainable future for our cities. So thank you so much for believing that a city can be more than a place where people live. It can really be a place where people never stop learning. And that changes everything. Thank you so much. Kap Kun Ka.
And it was very inspiring because we are not talking about like the status or just being a member, but how city itself can like support and help each other for the lifelong learning. So next, I would like it's our honor, like a great honor actually, to invite Miss Michaela Freisberg Story, the UN resident coordinator in Thailand, to give us the opening remark. Please welcome Ms. Michaela.
Savadika. I hope that you can hear me well. Yes. No? Yes. Perfect. Thank you. And I continued myself to learning by working out how to log on to the meeting today with my new devices. So as Marina said, we never stop learning. So with that, Savadika, and it is a real pleasure and honor to join you here today for the important discussion on the future of urban development and lifelong learning. And I am especially glad to see the distinguished leadership of the Chiang Mai University and the Knowledge Network Institute of Thailand. I had the privilege of visiting Chiang Mai last November, and I saw the tremendous talent, innovation, and local commitment flowing through Thailand's academic and municipal institution up in the beautiful city of Chiang Mai. And today's dialogue builds on that spirit of partnership and vision. So let me start by recognizing UNESCO's leadership in advancing the concept of the learning cities globally, and also recognize the progress that is being made here in Thailand. The UNESCO Global Network of Learning Cities has become an influential platform for sharing models of inclusive lifelong learning, and Thailand's 10 learning cities demonstrate the country's genuine and strong commitment to this important agenda as we move forward towards 2030 and beyond. Learning cities matter because learning itself cuts across every field. Learning is not only about education. It is about economy, governance, environment, technology, and social inclusion. It is a catalyst that strengthens society and that keeps humans at the center. And that is what we need, especially in the troubling times that we are all facing today. That is why the entire United Nations family sees learning cities not as an education initiative by itself, but as a powerful driver for sustainable development goals. Because learning cities address inequalities, they expand economic opportunity, they unlock digital potential and promote greener, more resilient urban development. From UNDP to UN Habitat, from UNICEF to ILO, and with UNESCO at our helm, we view learning cities as a powerful accelerator for human development at an urban local level. And I would really like to commend the Knowledge Network Institute of Thailand and the Chiang Mai University for their proactive research titled Analysis of Lessons Learned and Tools for Creating a Learning Urban Ecosystem. This is exactly what we need. Thailand has shown remarkable commitment to its vision, with 10 cities already recognized as member learning cities, Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, and new members like Bangkok, Koh Ken, and Yala, spanning across the beautiful kingdom. However, as the research highlights, the transition from receiving an award to sustaining a truly inclusive ecosystem requires addressing significant structural challenges, particularly in aligning policy, budget, and collective mindset. That is why a true learning city ecosystem is one where every library, every workspace, every public park becomes a hub for innovation, a place for meetings, for connectivity, and for humans. It's a city that doesn't just provide education, but to build a culture of learning that empowers its people to navigate today's challenges. Today's exchange will offer a unique opportunity for learning across cities and to bridge the gap between global excellence and local implementation. By learning from the technical and psychological roadmaps of distinguished GNLC awardees, including our partners from Okayama City and the Republic of Korea, Thai cities can move beyond titles towards long-term management and meaningful impact. As the United Nations in Thailand, we stand ready and we are proud to partner with you to continue this journey together. Let me close by congratulating all partners here today for your dedication. The work you are doing is not just about winning an award. It's about improving lives and creating cities where learning is accessible, continuous, inclusive,
GNLC. It's not just the status, is like the thing that we believe that going to make our city become better. And then the top priority of being member of GNLC is about networking. And today it's a great opportunity for everybody here who live across the world, who dedicate their time to be with us here in Chiang Mai. Maybe compared to other city, we just like the new beginners, but we try our best to do everything. So can we please ask everyone in this Zoom meeting to open the camera, and then we can have like a photo session. So whenever you're ready, just, okay. This is a good thing of like technology that allow us to take picture at once, like across the, I guess today we have almost 30 countries across the world joining, right? So let's smile together. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna count from 1, 2, 3. Right. So thank you so much. ขอบคุณมากค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะ So let's. I think we're doing quite good with the time. So because we understand that some of our delegate like live across the world, it might be like close to their like going home time, or somebody just have to prepare themselves to go to work. So thanks so much again, and we would like to move to the second session. So the second session is about the global best practices. This session is related to the work that we have been working part of our research process. So the session called Analysis of Lesson Learned and Tools for Creating a Learning Urban Ecosystem, and including structural challenges in Thai context. So you will get to learn and share some idea, and even also like get some information about our research that's still ongoing on the ongoing process, and also like get to understand a little bit more about Thai context before we move to the third session and the discussion session. So if I may take a little bit of time to share the slide. Okay. เดี๋ยวมีติ๊กเกอร์ไหมแบบนี้ถ้าไม่มีจะแชร์หรือจะให้แชร์จากนี้ก็ได้Okay. So I think everybody see the slide. Just please don't be worried about all this material and report. So after we finish the event, we will share the material with you. So in case like it will be very useful in the future. So but before I start the presentation, I will give the floor back to Professor Patana again, just to like complete his speech like before.
So hi again. So I will pick up from what I left off, right? So I did mention a little bit, and we hear a lot from UN representative, the core value of having UNESCO lifelong or learning city. I keep coming with the word of lifelong. Learning city to become a member or even to be awards. It's not a certificate. It's not just a status, but what's really happened is a mechanism on how city can follow and make a long-term and sustained impact, right? So again, nowadays Thailand, we have 13 cities that has been awarded as a certified member on the UNESCO Learning City. The question is, so what's next for our Thai city, or even city all over the world who thinking of becoming a member, or even already become a member? So what's next for us? So, and also the real question is that what happens if the certificate arrives? What are we going to do with it, right? So this is where our research begins, right? Globally, we have 57 cities that have gone further. They pursue UNESCO lifelong UNESCO Learning City Award, right? So more importantly, they pursue what's earning that award requires. I wanted to just be clear. So our research group, we are not recommending Thai city shares an award for prestige, right? We really recommend Thai city or city all over the world study awarded city, so then we can learn a lot from them, right? Because they have already built systems where learning has measurable, sustained impact for real people lives. They show, not only the program that they will run, but they really shows what's impact and have changed to lives in the city. So that's really things that we really wanted to land for. And this is the spirits behind our research. not how we comply with the framework, right? So, but then we do really want to build something for our city that genuinely change what possible for our people and how we know if it's working. So this is the value that we really want to make it happen, and this is why this matters. So I think with the few minutes after this, two of my colleagues here, I think we will be sharing what we found on our research. I'll return the microphone to you.
Thank you so much. So I think we have delegates who keep reminding us that Learning City is not just stated award or anything that I would say is just some decorated status, but it's a great commitment, right? If I may speak in Thai a little bit for our Thai audience สำหรับการประชุมนะคะเดี๋ยวตอนสุดท้ายทางเราจะสรุปให้นะคะจะสรุปให้ดังนั้นเนี่ยอย่างไม่ต้องกังวลนะคะคือสามารถที่จะใช้แปล2ภาษาได้นะคะ so moving back to the presentation, well, it took me some time, a lot of time actually, to try to create this presentation with a lot of information. It took us quite long time to do analysis because we're now focusing on how this 57 cities across the globe obtain the award. There must be something, there must be some kind of model of success that we can learn from them, right? So please excuse me if I'm going to talk a lot about numbers, but that's something is really important. So we have already heard from Professor Patana about this online consultative meeting. The goal is to have all of us sit together and go through the matter of GNLC, especially for the GNLC award, and how these cities become very successful, not just obtaining the membership, but also in terms of policy and urban development. So again, thanks for our dear partner. Start from Knowledge Network Institution of Thailand, connect with collaboration of Chiang Mai University, UNESCO Institute of Lifelong Learning, UNESCO Bangkok, National Institute of Learning of Lifelong Education from Korea, and all partnership across the globe. This is the picture that I want to show everyone. This is how we understand Learning City. Learning City, it's about people. It's about children. It's about everybody be part of the dialogue, how to make city better and livable. And also, we know for the fact that in order to become better, the international framework is really important. And that's why UNESCO and GNLC, along with the UIL and many international partnership, become very important to city like in Chiang Mai or in other developing country to follow the best example. So after we do some study, we know for the fact that we need to understand the award application first in order to understand how they achieve those implementation. And throughout this 10 years, 11 years, we have found that there are 3 significant shifts. Definitely at the beginning, the mode of the awarded city start from the general quality of education. Now they move to strategic sustainability. So not only focusing on the education, but also the equity and sustainable development. Secondly, so the awarded city move from qualitative to quantitative data. So everything has to be able to explain by data, number, and that's why monitoring and evaluation framework become very important. And thirdly, instead of only mention about initiative and projects, they are more focusing on policy and system. successful city now integrate like learning budget strategy directly into the permanent annual municipal budget and long-term urban planning. So we can say now like award the city and now more focused on the tangible, quantitative, sustainable impact and integrated system. And winning city often model solution for social and urban issues such as social like inequality and inclusion. Not just that, we also work even more deeper to identify these 57 cities with 58 awards. There's city like Cork in Ireland that win award twice, right? So we break down their implementation, projects, and model, and can identify like 13 key model. So covering from the inclusion, education skill, innovation, sustainability, governance skill, and even like governance and monitoring process. And this is the map that we pin each category and each model. And when we look closer to the successful model throughout the 13 archetypes, we have found the 3 distinctive, most prevalent models. The first one is about social cohesion and solidarity. It take like 9.12% across the world. And as I said before, city like Cork Island, who like win the award twice, they focus on the social cohesion. The second place is governance and monitoring. Monitoring would cover 7.98%. Mega city like in Beijing or Mexico City adopt the learning system as part of into the large scale urban management. The third place is about education and skill, take like 4.56 overall, like such as like city in Saudi Arabia that align learning directly with industrial labor need. This is the 3 top category of the successful model across the globe. And when we look even more closely to the percentage of each continent, so it's very clear that Asia leads the world with highest percentage of awarded city, about 10.83%. And Europe follow with Europe, so it's about 9.12. And Africa, and after that is South America and North America. So this show us something, and also as research team, we also question what are the key success, what are the factors that made like continent like Europe and Asia are really successful in terms of like awarded city. So when we subtract this information, we know that Asia leads the number of awarded city, about 19 cities, covering the education, skill, governance, and monitoring, and sustainability and environment. When Europe, 16 cities prioritize inclusion, social cohesion, governance, and monitoring. While Africa, South America, North America, and Oceania, it's about education, skill, and inclusion, cohesion being common priority. That often reflect like the character of the continent. In terms of the SDG as well, we know for the fact that the focus and the SDG can change over time, because if you part of the GNLC member, you have to submit the evaluation report every 2 years, and we have found that every year, since this GNLC membership is related to like the policy of the country themselves, so they tend to adjust their focus on SDG. Primarily, like the early award city, were focusing on SDG 4. Definitely is directly related to the education, quality education. But the big change happened after the COVID time. Cities start to look at other SDG about decent work and how to make city more resilient to sustainability. So when we look at this, we can see the trend of like the shift of the SDG focus, which I think like it will keep changing depend on the situation of the world. So basically, the data just show that SDG 4 constantly held the highest percentage overall. But learning city are no longer just education concept. They're now governance strategy. So they're more focused on policy implementation, budget planning, management, just to basically use the global network of learning city as a catalyst, as a factor to improve the quality of life in that city. This is the illustration show the 13 cities that have obtained the status as part of membership of Thailand. So you can see like it's covered from the north to the south. And if you look carefully, you can see that each city will have what we call in Thai the core DNA or the story. I think this is the matter that a lot of like people mention about UNESCO representative, the UN representative, and also Professor Patana. Because at the end of the day, whatever framework we try to adopt, it will have to give the benefit back to people who actually live inside the city. And I think these wouldn't happen without this collaborative between PMUA, EEF, and UNESCO. Let me talk a little bit more about this collaborative. So the development of Learning City in Thailand is a collaborative effort between key national and international organizations to create a sustainable learning ecosystem to reduce inequality. Program Management Unit for Area-Based or PMUA, they are the lead organization that support the R&D or research and development funding. And also definitely EEF or Equitable Education Fund. They have been working for a very long time to like reduce the inequality through education and distribute educational opportunity across the country. And of course, UNESCO, GNLC, particularly for UNESCO Bangkok, that they have been helping a lot of the city across Thailand, provide global like framework and network. Not just that, these organizations directly work with the local authority. Because in Thailand system, we believe that to tackle all the problem, to make the system sustainable, local authority or Tesaban in Thai or Obajor in Thai are key actor, not just in terms of budget management, but also in terms of like taking care of their people through the policy management. Until now, following the recent report from PMUA, there have been support 38 pilot area nationwide, and 13 cities in Thailand have obtained UNESCO GNLC member. And these are the name of the city that we do the deep analysis. You can see that each city will have their own focus covering from the innovation, policy, inclusion, social cohesion, and culture. When we look deeper, we see what we call the core DNA. As we already know, when you adopt the UNESCO framework, it's about culture, it's about education. And Thailand happened to be the country with long history. And that's why almost all of the cities that become GNLC member always look back to themselves in terms of cultural significance. But some cities like in Chiang Mai or in Khon Kaen, they seem to move toward like the smart city platform and also the industrial corridor. Even the south city like Yala, they focus on peace and harmony building through learning city. And Bangkok is about policy driven. However, after the analysis, we have found the key challenges as well. The first one, I think, is a classic problem to everywhere in the world, is about structural barrier, the silo problem, the top down, even like how the bottom up can tackle the system. That's still a big challenge. The second one is about sustainability risks. We use the word empty building syndrome to refer like many cities tend to have their focus on like established like the center, the place, the room for people. But the question is, are these rooms have been actually used by people? Third one is about the strategic gap. So we have to admit that the policy or even like political factor plays such a main role in this kind of like area of being part of the global network of learning city. And social handle, it's about like many cities like in Yala face challenging of the peace building, but I think they have done quite a really good job in terms of like using learning city as the mediator or medium platform to like connect people together. And the last one is about data fragmentation. So to tackle this, we believe that partnership over hierarchy should be the first one that every city have to look at it. The second one is about resource sharing, that now we live in the world where data is really important and resource is really important to share among each other. So to leverage like social and a lot of things, even just to move toward the inclusion, we think resource sharing is very important. And the last one is that it's about community ownership. At the end of the day, community have to feel like they are the owner of their own area, and they believe they have to believe that they live in the city, that they can learn through their life. Okay, lastly, this is the key takeaway. So we know that the award-based benchmark now, after like doing research like for quite some time and work with like the information across the globe, we found that like not just Thai city, every GNLC member should focus more on like tangible implementation model. And of course, one of the most challenging thing, particularly maybe for Thailand, it's about monitoring and evaluation. We need this system to be more legit, and I think M&E will help move the city from qualitative to quantitative data driven. Policy and governance, of course, we believe that awarded city have already proved that learning is a permanent governance strategy, and through like the policy planning and learning budget into a annual municipal financial cycle. What is important, another thing that also important is the tangible beneficiary. So whatever we do in the city, we have to be able to prove that how many people have actually benefit from this project, and do the budget or whatever we spend really go back to the people who pay tax for government. The fifth one is about strategic DNA. I think every city need to find their own value and understand their significances and coordinate before they can identify what are good for their lifelong learning. And last one, it's about overcoming the structure silo, right? I think many countries across the world facing the same problem, but I also believe that being GNLC member open the opportunity for community people to stand up for themselves and tackle this silo system. So I would like to end with this. So at the end of the day, this is what we want to see in our city. We want to see everybody come out and use this space in the city and feel safe, and then everybody express themselves in a good way, and like regardless what is their economic background, where they come from, even visitor foreigner, we should all together like believe that our city will enhance our life quality. So I would like to end it now here. For the Q&A, so we will have this session after we have the presentation from Okayama from session 3, because I think then we have time to our audience to maybe think about the question, or even if you have any question now, you can type on the message box on your right. Okay, we really good at times. So I would like to welcome the representative from UNESCO Bangkok, Ms. Rika Yorosu, on the floor. And again, I can't thank UNESCO Bangkok enough to like participate with this event, and then they're very like generous to like offer help for the moderation because they are more professional than us. And like please welcome Ms. Rika Eurosud on the stage, and then the floor is yours for the session 3 ค่ะ
Okay, thank you very much, Kun Ajirapa. Actually, thanks is actually to the Thailand's Knowledge Network Institute and Chiang Mai University for organizing this very good occasion for learning cities to come together to share and to learn. So without further ado, I'd like to invite my colleague from UNESCO Institute for Lifelong Learning, Ms. Edith Hammer. She will be presenting some good promising practices across the learning cities around the world. Is she online? Is Edith? Yes.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So thank you, Rika, for the kind introduction. It's a pleasure to join you all today. And I also want to begin with sincerely thanking the organizers and hosts for the opportunity to speak, but more so for organizing this important event, for bringing together such an engaged community of lifelong learning enthusiasts, practitioners and policymakers. So I think this dialogue is really essential for peer learning, for strengthening learning cities in Thailand and beyond. So thanks to the Knowledge Network Institute of Thailand and Chiang Mai University for organizing this event. I will be very pleased to provide an introduction and some snapshots into the good practices of award-winning cities within the global network of learning cities. I think with the presentation, I will introduce the UNESCO Learning Cities Award and provide some insights into the cities that have made outstanding achievements within their time of being part of the network. And with the presentations that will follow, we will have the chance to have a more in-depth look into Okayama, for example. So please consider my presentation as an introduction to this more in-depth presentation. So I will share my screen. Maybe Rika, could you confirm if you can see it in full screen mode, or if I need to still change?
Not yet in the full screen.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Possibly now?
Not. Now it's in the presentation mode. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So before going into the concrete practices of learning cities, I would like to introduce some context about the award and what it means to be an awardee city. So the Learning Cities Award was created in 2015, and it recognizes cities that have made remarkable and measurable progress in advancing lifelong learning. It is not a financial prize, that's important to say. It's a highly respected global recognition that highlights cities in demonstrating innovation, inclusion, sustainability, and strong governance in learning city development. So far, the award has been presented in 2015 when it was first conferred, and then 2017, 2019, 2021, and 2024. And we will have the next edition of the award in 2027, so now following a triennial rhythm. The award is conferred at the International Conference on Learning Cities, so every 3 years with a nice award ceremony. And basically we have four main purposes for the award. So we seek to strengthen the global commitment to lifelong learning. The award is a way also to showcase effective policies and innovation and support peer learning within the UNESCO GNLC. We seek to encourage cities to accelerate the implementation of lifelong learning, and of course to, as mentioned, to support the peer learning also across regions by showcasing these good practices. The nomination and selection process is quite rigorous to ensure also fairness and quality-based selection. Cities must submit their applications through their national commissions for UNESCO, and the national commissions then screen the applications and can nominate up to 2 cities to be applications to be forwarded to URL, and then there's an evaluation process by a jury, and this international jury provides a suggestion of who shall receive the award, and only, this is also important, only the actions taken by the city while having been part of the network are considered for the award application. So no prior achievements should be taken into consideration. And this quite rigorous process maintains also the prestige and credibility of the award, and helps to strengthen the shared accountability also of GNLC members. These are some of the criteria that the award is based on. So it is really grounded in clear and comprehensive actions. And cities are evaluated by a set of foundational activities that provide a good framework and are needed to build learning cities. So strategic planning, we ask cities to state, is there a clear plan? Is it developed in a participatory method? Has it long-term perspective also? Then we look at the stakeholder partnerships, which private and public and civil society actors are engaged, in which ways in the learning city development. Is there a coordinated structure for stakeholder involvement? We look at resource mobilization, so how effectively the cities are able to mobilize financial resources, but also human resources, cultural resources that help to strengthen the learning city. We look at monitoring and evaluation. So is there already a robust system in place to track progress and document evidence? As you may know, in the UNESCO GNLC, we are currently working towards revising the key features of learning cities and to establish a more adequate indicators framework that responds to the most recent developments also in the field of education and international development, and also a simplified indicators framework that will really provide support to cities to monitor their own progress. Accessibility and inclusion, so this is of course very much at the core of the UNESCO GNLC. We look at the city's activities in addressing the learning needs of all learners, especially vulnerable, marginalized groups. And then also, is the city, what is the progress in creating a culture of lifelong learning in terms of learning festivals, events that make learning really a part of everyday life in the city. And lastly, innovation. Does the city use innovative, creative approaches, digital tools, also new governance models in designing the learning city? So this is what we look at. And the last question is also what kind of contributions the city brings to the GNLC in terms of sharing their knowledge, presenting in events that we organize, leading thematic work, and supporting peer learning internationally. So these are the criteria of what it means also to be an awarded city in the GNLC. And I would now like to take a look around the world and to see how awardee cities from 2021 and 2024 have responded to these criteria and have fulfilled them. And of course, this can only be a snapshot at this stage. I've selected one city per region, and I'd like to start with the topic of planning, partnership, and resource mobilization, and showcase here the city of Bangkok in Morocco and the city of Glasgow in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Learning city planning, multi-stakeholder partnerships, and resource mobilization is really the basis for building a learning city. It's also an expression of the political commitment and the vision and governance that a city has towards lifelong learning. And both Bangkok and Glasgow have offered outstanding but very different models also of building their learning cities. One emerging more from a context of rapid transformation and in Morocco, and one Glasgow as a quite established learning city with strong community development structures in place. And so together we can see that these, while offering different models of learning city development, they have both made outstanding achievements. So when looking into Bangkok, they have built strong partnerships, particularly with Mohammed VI Polytechnic University, but also the Ministry of Education strongly involved, several foundations and local associations, and they have established a strong coordinated structure. There has been an increase in the lifelong learning budget by 164% from 2023 to 2024, which also is an expression of the political commitment to provide the funds for the lifelong learning promotion. We can see creation of learning spaces in a broad range of city spaces, in the established digital libraries, but also centers to address the needs of people with autism, establishing youth platforms and community kiosks. And there's also a strong focus on the reintegration programs for second chance schooling, serving many different learners. In addition to that, we can also see that festivals and youth programs have helped to bring lifelong learning to thousands of participants every year. Similarly, with some difference we can see in Glasgow. Glasgow has as I mentioned, a quite long-standing learning city, and has created a broad structure of what is called the Glasgow Learning Cities Working Group, involving 20 institutional partners, which also aligns citywide initiatives across education, culture, health, and innovation. They have made available opportunities also for other partners to express interest in becoming part of this learning city movement, and it's very low-level possibility of registering on the Glasgow Learning City website and express interest to be part and also help shape the learning city for institutions and all kinds of partners who are interested. The city has deeply integrated their learning city development into the urban development strategies, including through innovation districts and also climate neutral urban planning. The Glasgow has also been a host of the COP 2026 several years ago, and is very committed to sustainable development and climate action. Through its coordinated community learning and development strategic planning, Glasgow delivers inclusive programs across literacy, digital skills, health, addressing the needs of a broad range of learners in families, young people, and to the community. And what is really particular about Glasgow is the level of holistic planning, of bringing the different sectors and elements together, and in that way really helping to both support the green transition, but also cultural vibrancy and social equity. What I would say is outstanding for the two examples is the comprehensiveness and solid planning and resource mobilization that we can see here. Moving to another topic that is one of the key criteria is the level and comprehensiveness of monitoring progress in learning city development. And I'd like to showcase here one example from Wuhan, from the People's Republic of China. And Wuhan has received the Learning Cities Award also in recent years. And it has been designated as one of China's first national pilot cities for monitoring learning city development. And this has positioned the city as a leader in evidence-based lifelong learning governance. So to guide this work, Wuhan has developed the Wuhan Learning City Construction Monitoring Guiding Indicator System. And it has, this system includes 5 primary indicators, 15 secondary indicators, and 62 tertiary indicators, which cover organizational support structures, the development of lifelong learning education and lifelong learning service systems, community and international learning environments, sustainable urban development, and also the city's learning-oriented innovations. To manage the process of monitoring, Wuhan has established a leadership group for monitoring. This group of experts is responsible to oversee all aspects of data collection, coordination with different departments, reporting cycles, and also the alignment of the monitoring with the broader educational, environmental, and social development goals. The city has also issued a formal Wuhan Learning City Construction Monitoring Project practice work plan, which sets out the principles, tasks, and division of responsibilities for each of the participating bodies involved in the monitoring process. The monitoring data reporting system that is in place in Wuhan is citywide. The government departments, cultural institutions, and education providers and social organizations regularly submit quantitative and qualitative data. This information is compiled into annual monitoring reports, enabling Wuhan to evaluate progress, identify areas for improvement, and refine policies and programs accordingly. And the framework is aligned with the key features of learning cities and also with the sustainable development goals. And therewith ensuring that the framework also corresponds to broader global priorities. So this monitoring framework not only serves as a reporting tool, but really as a strategic engine to guide Wuhan's lifelong learning development. It ensures the transparency and accountability, continuous improvement by being also accompanied by this expert group leading the process. So it's a really excellent example of how systematic monitoring can support dynamic and inclusive learning city development. And now the third and last area that I would like to look into is how award cities have been able to support the developing a culture of lifelong learning, making learning more accessible, and supporting innovative approaches to learning within the particular contexts, which we know are very different across regions and cities. So when looking into these criteria a bit closer, of course, it's important to ensure that all citizens, in particular those marginalized and underrepresented learners, can participate in meaningful lifelong learning opportunities, to establish a culture of lifelong learning through visible and valued and celebration events, but also to find creative ways of bringing learning to diverse target groups. And 2 cities stand out here. One is Bouaké from Côte d'Ivoire, and another one is Cuenca from Ecuador. And they've both managed also in different ways. Cuenca has developed a very strong social inclusion model, and what stands out for Bouaké, I would say, is the strong interest and investment in green economy training and supporting women's empowerment and community learning initiatives. So let's take a look to Buake. So the city's approach is rooted in expanding the access for groups that were traditionally excluded from formal education and economic opportunities, and to provide them a second path. One of the major achievements in the Buake is the Buake Ville Durable, which is an initiative that links lifelong learning with environmental sustainability and economic resilience. And through this program, the city has supported 500 young people and informal sector workers to provide training in agroecology, circular economy, waste recovery, electric mobility. So enabling learning to develop those practical green skills that can also help them find good jobs in green economy opportunities. Women's empowerment, as mentioned, is another central pillar. The city has established a support fund for women, supporting almost 500 women to access loans and helping them to create their own income-generating activities through microloans. And this financial support is also coupled with training and coaching, helping women to strengthen their autonomy and economic participation. Buake has also cultivated a local learning culture through workshops, awareness raising, and alone in 2023 they have reached out to more than 1,000 participants that took place in their learning days that were organized on digital skills, entrepreneurship, and environmental education and beyond. So it's a very nice example of creating this comprehensive culture of lifelong learning with a strong ecological perspective. And the last city snapshot from Latin America, Cuenca, shows Cuenca is really a powerful model for integrating lifelong learning with a strong social inclusion and cultural identity. The city has done a lot for early childhood learning and education through its municipal initial education centers, offering high quality learning opportunities for children, particularly of vulnerable, marginalized families. Through the rural library network, the city has played a vital role in also securing education during the pandemic and has continued these efforts through digital and cultural resources. There have been investments in cultural prosperity centers, promoting arts, ancestral knowledge, science and technology. And Cuenca has also received international recognition for being a smart and sustainable city. So the awards go beyond the UNESCO GNLC, but the city has really grounded its identity very much in the topic of inclusion and innovation in that way, with this strong social inclusion perspective. So these were some snapshots to provide an introduction to the presentations that will follow from some selected cities. And to finalize, I would just like to invite you, if you're eager to learn more about cities' practices, I think the UNESCO GNLC webinar series is really an excellent opportunity. Please sign up to either participate in the webinar series, but also to present your own practices if you're a UNESCO Learning City. The series is on a monthly basis and goes on throughout the year, and we warmly invite you to join us there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Edith, and particularly for Thai participants, I'd like to share that the webinar organized by URL, our partner PMUA, has been translated into Thai, so you can also listen to the Thai version. But we would also like to have more Thai cities joining the webinar in the global webinars. Okay. We will go to the next speaker and then open for some Q&A. May I invite Ms. Sachie Kumano, the SDG and ESD Promotion Division of Okayama City. The city has been a member of the Learning Cities and as well as a very strong and dedicated city promoting education for sustainable development in Japan. Over to you, Ms. Kumano-san.
Thank you very much for your. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much for your nice introduction. Good afternoon to the hosts and organizers from the Knowledge Network Institute of Thailand and Chiang Mai University, the GNLC Headquarters Office, the fellow learning cities representatives. My name is Sachi Kumar, and I'm an international focal point for the SDGs University Promotion Division at the Okayama City office in Japan. And thank you very much for your invitation to the UNESCO GNLC Strategic Exchange. Let me share you with my presentation. Go ahead. Yes. これはできない。できない。ウィンドウ。ちょっと待って。
Can we see the full screen?
いや、できてるんですが、発表したツールにならないです。すべてがね、一回消したけど。あ、そうです。それはそうです。あ、で、最初から、そうです。そうです。これでいけるはず。あ、大丈夫です。Okay. I'm so sorry to taking too much time of yours. Can you see the
It's not スライドショーのモードにまだなってないみたいなんですか。下の方のスライドバーの隣にあるスクリーンみたいなとこをスイッチした方。モニターの下の方にある。コメントの隣の隣の4つ。
コメントの隣の隣の4つ目。
はい、4つ目のアイコンがあるんですが、下になんか 53% って書いてあるところよりも手前の
we have the backup file. We can share full screen from our site. Okay. We can help you share the full screen.
That would be great.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so we will show from our screen. Kumano-san, if you could just indicate to us when to move on to the next slide.
Okay.
So if you could you kindly stop sharing the screen? Yeah.
これシェアをやめたいんですけど、どうやったらやめるんですか？終了で。あちらで流して。
Okay, I think it looks good now.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you very much. So let me move on to the. This is the picture of Okayama City, and could you go to the next, please? So let me introduce you a little bit about Okayama City, the capital of Okayama Prefecture in Japan. It is located in the west side of the country. Next, please. Okayama City has a population of around 720,000 and an area of approximately 790 square kilometers. Around 70% of the city is occupied by nature in the form of farmland and mountains. And in recent years, Okayama City has developed into a major regional transport hub in Western Japan with highway, rail, and air networks. In 2009, Okayama City became one of Japan's 20 government-designated cities. This means that the city government is delegated not only regular administrative functions, but also some of the authority of the prefectural government in terms of city planning, social welfare, and public education. Next, please. So today I will talk about how we have implemented lifelong learning in our city, focusing on our relationship with the GNLC and the 3 key questions you raised. And then next, please. So number one, what was the critical problem or pain point in your city that it convinced leadership and citizens that becoming a learning city was a necessity rather than just an option? And how did you build that initial collective mindset? So I will explain how Okayama City became a learning city and what the circumstances were like at the time. Next, please. So Okayama City joined the UNESCO GNLC in 2016, just a year after the GNLC was established by UNESCO. The following year, 2017, we received the UNESCO Learning City Award. The city is currently involved in the ESD cluster in GNLC. So prior to joining the GNLC, Okayama City had been actively implementing and promoting ESD for about 20 years. The city has been part of the national and international networks such as RCE, Regional Center of Expertise on ESD, the UNESCO Creative Cities Network in Literature, and the OECD Champion Mayors for Inclusive Growth Initiative. Next, please. So before discussing the ESD initiatives undertaken in Okayama City, I would like to briefly explain what ESD is, as some of you may not be familiar with the concept. ESD stands for Education for Sustainable Development. It provides people of all ages with learning opportunities, equipping them with the knowledge, skills, and behaviors needed to effect social change and protect the planet in light of issues such as climate change, loss of biodiversity, and inequality. So ESD was first introduced in 2002, and UNESCO has been the lead UN agency, creating the UN Decade of ESD and the following GAP, a Global Action Program on ESD. Since the SDGs were adopted in 2015, ESD has been positioned as one of the SDG targets, ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all, as well as being a key enabler in achieving all SDG goals and targets. We are now operating within the new international framework, ESD for 2030. Next, please. So ESD has spread widely in Japan because the Japanese government originally proposed the concept to the world and integrated it into school education throughout the country. Okayama City has been enthusiastic about ESD from very beginning, sending representatives to present the citywide initiative at the side event of the 2002 World Summit, where ESD was introduced. Interest in ESD among citizens peaked in 2014 when the UNESCO World Conference in ESD was held in Japan, and Okayama City hosted several meetings. However, after that, we then noticed a decline in public interest in ESD in our city. So this could be one of the critical problems that motivated us to join the GNLC. We wanted to revitalize public enthusiasm for ESD because with the launch of the SDGs in 2015, the importance of education in achieving a sustainable society was increasing worldwide. There was no need to convince the leadership or citizens to become a GNLC member. We believed that ESD and the lifelong learning that we had implemented throughout the communities aligned with the GNLC's concept. Next, please. So key question number 2, how do you move beyond a project-based approach to create a permanent, legal, and well-funded governance structure that remains stable even when there are changes in political leadership or budget constraints? I would like to introduce you to our governance structure. Next, please. So Okayama City has been an early adopter of both ESD and SDGs in 2005 and 2015 respectively. The reason ESD and the SDGs have been steadily implemented without interruption is that it is supported by legal, financial, and structural frameworks in Okayama City. These frameworks were in place even before the city became a learning city. The fact that the mayor, who is committed to ESD, has served for a long time also contributes to stability. Our mayor is currently serving his 4th term and having been in the office since 2013. So on the screen, you see the major 3 parties: Okayama City Office, City Council, that's a municipal legislature in Okayama, and the Okayama ESD Promotion Commission, that is a multi-stakeholder network. So in terms of legal efforts, Okayama City enacted the Okayama City ESD Promotion Ordinance in 2014, proposed by the city's legislature. This ordinance is the only one of its kind in Japan. It defines ESD as a collective effort involving all citizens, communities, and the city office. Okayama City created the Okayama City Comprehensive Plan, a long-term vision and guidelines for urban development in the city, incorporating the promotion of ESD and the SDGs. Okayama City also revised the Okayama City Basic Plan for the promotion of education with ESD perspectives. And in terms of the governance structure, the division dedicated to ESD was set up originally in 2013 in preparation to host some international stakeholder meetings in conjunction with the International Conference on ESD. It was developed to the current SDGs and ESD Promotion Division, where I belong to. This division also became a secretariat of a multi-stakeholder network. It's called the Okayama ESD Promotion Commission, providing the financial and human support to the commission so that the commission's SDGs and ESD-related activities can be continued uninterrupted. The city also created the SDGs Promotion Headquarters, comprising all the divisions across the entire Okayama City office to ensure that all divisions share a common understanding of the SDGs and work together to advance them. Also, City Board of Education, which is in charge of school education and lifelong learning, outreach to a wide range of age groups to implement ESD. Next, please. Question 3, what is the most effective learning mechanism or tool your city uses to ensure that lifelong learning programs remain inclusive and sustainable, and how to measure the real-world impact on your city's quality of life. So I would like to talk about effective learning mechanism that we believe is working, as well as the assessment methods we carry out. Next, please. The effective learning mechanism that we have developed over the past 20 years to implement ESD initiative is referred to as the Okayama model. While it was once highly praised, now it is more commonly used in the world. I think it's called as whole community approach. So number one is we have a place to implement ESD. We use local learning hubs such as kominkans, community learning centers, and schools, including UNESCO associated schools, who implement ESD throughout the city. We have a network called the Okayama ESD Promotion Commission, and also we have people, ESD practitioners, professionals, and coordinators in universities, kominkans, and various organizations in order to develop and teach people and to connect people. Next, please. Let me talk about kominkans. Kominkans are social education centers established throughout Japan and funded and managed by local governments. Okayama City's kominkans are very unique in that alongside their regular cultural activities and space rental services, they also serve as local hubs for ESD promotion and citizens collaboration. In 2007, Okayama City created the Okayama City Kominkans Basic Policy, which incorporates ESD perspectives to manage their activities. To ensure that everyone from children to the elderly in the city has access to learning opportunities in their neighborhoods, Okayama City has set up 37 kominkans with the aim of having at least one kominkan in each junior high school district. All kominkans are managed by Kominkan Promotion Office of Okayama City Board of Education and assigned dedicated staff, including a social education specialist. So each kominkan, with coordination from a social education specialist, local residents, schools, businesses, NPOs, and other groups collaborate to learn and work together to address local issues such as environmental conservation, disaster prevention, multicultural understanding, and the needs of an aging society. Next, please. About promoting ESD in schools, in national level, Japanese government added ESD perspective in the national curriculum standards for kindergartens, elementary schools, lower and upper secondary schools, and schools for special needs education, and started it to implement it in 2018 academic year. Within the Okayama City school systems, the City Board of Education enhances children's learning to help build sustainable society by connecting schools from preschool to the secondary level. It also expands their learning experiences by fostering connections with families, local communities, kominkans, and local businesses. Next, please. Okayama City encourages schools to become UNESCO associated schools, which has ASP.NET, a global network of educational institutions in the world to promote peace, international understanding, and sustainable development. There are 60 UNESCO associated schools ranging from elementary school to high schools in Okayama Prefecture, mainly in Okayama City. And Okayama has one of the highest numbers of UNESCO associated schools in Japan. And in 2014, the International Forum on the ASP.NET was held in Okayama City. Following year, Okayama UNESCO ASP.NET High School Network was formed to connect 11 high schools in Okayama and encourage students to learn and act together for the SDG themes. Support networks for the UNESCO associated schools like this is rare, even on a national level in Japan. And this network is managed by a chair school and is supported by Okayama University's ESD Promotion Center with their students and alumni volunteers and the Okayama City office and also the Okayama ESD Promotion Commission. Next, please. Thank you. And let me introduce the Okayama ESD Promotion Commission, a multi-stakeholder network. It started with only about 20 organizations in 2005. Now it has grown to encompass around 400 member organizations, including universities, schools, communicants, citizens organizations, businesses, media, and governmental offices. The Commission conducts activities collectively under the name of the Okayama ESD Project, while each organization carries out their own activities relating to the SDGs and ESD. Next, please. The Okayama ESD project is being implemented in accordance with the current project plan, which runs from 2020 to 2030. The project has 8 objectives and around 30 projects are being implemented throughout the year. For example, number 3, developing the youth base and ESD leaders. So we are working to increase the number of young ESD practitioners and develop human resources such as ESD coordinators who can work in schools or communicants or civic organizations. And number 5, rewarding good ESD practices. We have the ESD Okayama Award to recognize outstanding ESD projects worldwide every year. And our selection team includes advisors from several local university faculty members. So that's what we do. Next, please. Lastly, I would like to talk about how to measure the real-world impact on our citizens' quality of life. So let me present one of our assessments. The Okayama ESD Promotion Commission has set target numbers for 8 priority areas in the Okayama ESD Project Fundamental Plan. Our division serves as the secretariat and also we report on the Okayama ESD project activities carried out during the year to the steering committee at the end of each fiscal year. So the commission then checks that these activities are in line with the targets set for the midterm and the final years of the plan. For example, under priority area 3, developing youth-based and ESD leaders, as I said, we hold ESD coordinator training program with the aim of increasing the number of ESD coordinators each year. So, so this is one of the examples. Let me see here. For that program, in 2019, we had only about 20 people trained, but in 2025, we targeted in total 120 people. But currently, we're checking actual number, and then we think it's more than this number. So we check all the numbers comparing to that target. Next, please. So this is the pictures how we do that program. But again, this indicator is about quantity, not the indicator directly demonstrating that lifelong learning is improving the quality of life for citizens. So the other one I would like to introduce is another indicator. We conduct, the city conducts every 2 years about examining citizens' views on various administrative policies. So this is not only education, it's about entire administrative policies. And this indicator does not also directly demonstrate that learning is improving people's quality of life. So next, please. So it is very difficult to tell how education is working in terms of improving people's lives. I would like to mention another survey we conducted last fall in conjunction with the publication of an online booklet we had commemorating the 20th anniversary of the establishment of the Okayama City Promotion Commission. This features comments from those involved and summarizing our activities over the past 20 years. We commissioned a faculty member at Okayama University to conduct a 20-year ESD effectiveness survey. The results showed that although it is difficult to evaluate the outcomes of education, behavioral changes among citizens were obvious, evident. So this measure assesses whether ESD has led to people's behavioral changes. It is not, again, an indicator of whether it has contributed to the quality of life for citizens. So it is very difficult to measure it, in our opinion. So I hope I answer all of your questions in this presentation. As you can see, we are still in a work in progress. We are hoping to continue our collaboration with GNLC members and the UIL office so that we can learn each other, work together to create a sustainable society in this unforeseeable current situation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kumano-san, for sharing the rich experience of Okayama City. I see Kunajapa, yeah, given hands. So, shall I open for some Q&A to the first three speakers, to Ms. Ajrapa or Ms. Edis and Ms. Sache, if there is any questions that you would like to raise to the speakers? Yes.
Okay.
I would say the secret of the Okayama City is the whole of a city approach to building a learning society. And it's not just involving the educational institutions, but bringing the discussion to the local parliament and also to the different stakeholders in the city. And it's not easy to maintain that for more than 20 years. Yes. Okay.
I do have like a few questions, but I don't really want to take a lot of time. So the first thing is what really like very interesting. It's about how you measure the number of the impact, because in many cities it seems like sometimes the number show like quite a high figure, but for Japan, because I can see that to make something that sound like very small to be effective is very difficult. And I see the similarity of the character that Okayama City worked directly with the school within the area, very similar to Chiang Mai City as well. And I think like very similar to like many municipality across Thailand. So just one question: how do you like measure that figure? Like you collect survey every time you have project or initiative, right? And you also mentioned that you don't talk about like the impact that directly related to lifelong, but it's about behavior change. How this figure and the behavior the behavior change like related.
Maybe I will also share one more question from the audience, which is about Kominkan. What is it? And do they organize activities related to career development for elderly people? Yes. So I guess this two question is addressed to Ms. Kumano-san.
Thank you very much for your wonderful questions. And it's so difficult to measure how education is impacting in comparing to the numbers of how many people, how many participants join this forum or join this. So every year we conduct about 30 activities under the Okayama ESD Promotion Commission. We have so many other activities individually, but in terms of the Okayama ESD Promotion Commission's projects, every year we count the number of participants, number of Kominkan's activities, and then those kind of all numbers, and then report it to the members. But as you said, it's not necessarily about like a high number is more impactful or small number is not so impactful. So it is very hard to measure it. So we discussed this with the Okayama University faculty member, and then to conduct the survey, as I mentioned. And then she also shared that notion. And then she mentioned sometimes it's important to dig into each participant or each student's experiences and then get their lifelong story and then share it. For example, like one high school student who was learning these SDGs in school and also actively joined the UNESCO associated schools, and then she became a university student, became a leader of as a university student and a leader of like younger people, and then she became now a high school teacher, and then she is conducting so many activities in her high school where she's working. So like when we see that person's experiences as a child and student, university students, became a teacher, and then we feel like, oh, ESD must be working looking at from individual experiences. So we need to collect all those stories from different students or like individual experiences, and then gather those stories and then find out how it's working. But it takes time, and it takes to see how they grow. Like it takes like 10 years or 20 years until they become adult. And then after that, we see how society has been changed because those leaders already grew and then taking the lead to create a sustainable society. So it's very difficult to find out.
Yes.
Oh, and then another question about the Kominkan. Kominkan has so many activities. It has, as I said, cultural activities, programs for elderly people to develop their working skills, and then also like connect younger people to and the elderlies. For example, some Komikan has smartphone, how to use smartphone for elderly people, and then teachers are high school students, so they can teach each other, and then like the younger people can teach technology to the older people, and the older people can share their life experiences, and then they can help each other. And once they have the connection in the community, when something happens, like we have a lot of earthquakes and then typhoon and those kind of emergencies, and then they can help each other because we have already developed the communications and helping each other. So it's Kominkan is a very important facility in Okayama City.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's really an important infrastructure for connecting people in the communities in Japan. Because the Kominkan, the learning organizers organize and plan activities, but it's also people living in the community can offer learning activities in the Kominkan facilities itself. Yes. There is a question from Learning City in Nairobi. If he or she is online, maybe could I ask her to direct a question to our participant? Okay. If not, basically, Nairobi City is very keen to partner with Okayama City to learn from Okayama City's experience. Perhaps we could try to connect the two cities after this event. Any further questions? Let me check. Yeah, Ajrapa, Kun Ajrapa.
Hello, thank you for your very inspiring presentation on the example of Okayama Learning City. I was interested in the point that you made that there was a kind of decline in interest in the ESD and that was already being practiced and implemented, and that this was one of the motivating factors for seeking GNLC or Learning City membership. And I'm just curious to hear a little bit more about that how is it that the Learning City membership was able to revive and build on the existing activities and programming around ESD in Okayama?
Thank you very much for your question. I was not here in Okayama around the time, so this is something I heard from the people who were here before. So like when we have something big happens, like hosting international conference and inviting all the people from the world, our tension goes up. And then after that, we tend to feel, oh, what a relief. And then kind of we found the decline interest in ESD. And also later, the SDGs became more commonly known, and then it's ubiquitous in Japan. So people are like more interested in SDGs, and it's very like dialect goals and objectives. So it's easier to to connect with it, especially in terms of like business, and it's very clear the goals. So so people's mind kind of like shifted. So it's still like that, I think, in my opinion. But becoming a member of a GNLC network, and then also like we are a member of similar international networks. And then last year we had, it's not the GNLC, but a different international conference. And then when we have that, like it's a good timing to get media's attention. And then we put a lot of posters around the city, and then gathering all the related people, like students, organizations, businesses, and kind of like push them again to like collaborate each other, and then like think about education again. So that kind of motivate people get together. So like being international networks such as GNLC, RCE, it's very, we view them as very important. I hope
Yeah, thank you very much. I think there's one more question from Chiang Mai, from Kun Chantalak. And this will be the last question. It's basically, so how is Kominkan bridging the generational gap between the young generation and the older generation, and building meaningful connections between across the generations through learning?
Thank you very much for your great question. In Kominkan, they have each Kominkan has different project or programs that can attract young people and older people. Well, to attract young people, they put a lot of efforts to it. They schools, like elementary schools, junior high schools, the teachers and communities to gather students to bring students to Kominkan, and also like create interesting programs even to the younger generations. For example, one Kominkan, they have like environmental survey activity, and then bring all the young children to the older people and check their environmental their environments of like water, rivers, and then parks, that kind of things. And then sometimes they pick up the garbage from there together in a survey. What the quality of air, quality of water together, and then put the all information together, and then they discuss how to improve their neighborhood. And then so like young people's opinions are very important. And then after that, one particular case, young students even had a chance to talk with the mayor. And then all together, we created the new path, new promenade alongside the river, and improve the environment, actual environment. And they have now a little park to enjoy, have fun in the water, and it's cleaner water. And then they are now encouraged to do better in different areas. Not only the water or not only the air. So they are become very active because they feel all important. And so that's so each Kominkan trying to find a way to attract young people, and then not only elderlies. So that's their
effort. Thank you very much. I think Kominkan is playing a role to build citizenship, global citizenship of the young people. So for this, maybe round of applause for Ms. Kumano-san, who received a lot of questions. Yes, I'd like to move on to the second part of the sharing of good practices from around the world. We are moving to Republic of Korea. They have close to around 60 cities which are member of the UNESCO GNLC. Yes. Is this, will there be a presentation by Niall or?
Yes, it will be a presentation by Niall, and we have a Mr. Please excuse me to like read the name correctly. Song Yong Kwan in the
Right.
presentation. Right.
Okay.
Okay. So
Then Mr. Song. Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Right. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Good afternoon, good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. Today, I will present the work of the NILE, the National Institute for Lifelong Education. Our guiding vision is building a creative learning society. South Korea is a global leader in this field. We were a foundational member of the UNESCO GNLC. As of early 2025, we have 56 member cities, the largest membership in the world, and 6 of our cities have received the UNESCO Learning City Award. Let me explain what NILE actually does in practice. Founded in 2008 under the Ministry of the Education, our mission is to make education flexible and inclusive for every citizen, regardless of their age. We have 4 primary responsibilities. First, policy implementation. We mentor and evaluate national lifelong learning policy. Second, alternative pathways. We manage the academic credit bank system, which allow adults to earn university degree outside of the traditional and college. Third, professional development. We oversee the certification of the lifelong learning educator to ensure high quality. First, local integration. We partner with local government to build infrastructure for lifelong learning cities. Our goal is to prepare citizens for the 100 years lifespan and the fourth industrial revolution. We don't just teach hobby. We focus on ecological transition and urban renewal, training community leaders and activities, and specialized programs for our elderly population. The scale of this project is massive. As of 2025, we will reach 206 lifelong learning cities, covering nearly 88% of all eligible districts nationwide. To help our society stay balanced, we now give extra support to areas facing population decline. We believe education must translation into real world impact. In 2024, over 44,000 individuals completed this program. Almost 5% of these graduates immediately gave back to their communities through talent donation, volunteering, or taking on running Thai job. To keep a standard high, we evaluate cities every 3 years. In our last cycle, 59 cities were redesigned. We also recognized 6 excellent cities, including Gwangmyeong and Gwangju, for their outstanding regional programs. Looking ahead, NIRE is focusing on 3 strategic directions. First, using education to mitigate population decline and support regional development. Second, moving toward unique regional branding, so each city has its own educational identity. Third, creating an integrated management framework for long-term sustainability. Beyond these cities, we also manage the KMOOC online portal, adult literacy education, and National Center for Multicultural Education. Our budget for 2026 is set at approximately 7.8 billion Korean won to expand these vital services. Thank you so for your time.
Move on to the cities from Korea to share. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then we'll open for Q&A. And in the meantime, you're all welcome to type in the questions in the chat. So one first question I'd like to ask is to the learning cities from Korea is, what are the primary factors that is contributing to your city's success in attaining the GNLC award? So please tell us your secret. Yes, may I ask perhaps from Suwon or Osan? Yeah, from Osan City. Yes, Mr. Lee.
네, 오산부터 해주시죠, 선생님. 영어로 질문 읽으시고 답해 주시면 될 것 같습니다. 편하게 하세요.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon. 사와디크랍. konnichiwa. I'm Lee Hyung-seok, in charge of Osan GNLC. We raised 2 questions. The first question is, what are the primary factors contributing to your city's success in attaining the UNESCO GNLC award? The answer is, I'd like to answer the main factors that contribute to the success of winning the Learning City Award. I think the reason why Osan City was able to win the Learning City Award is that Osan City's lifelong education is well connected as a huge lifelong learning ecosystem. Osan City serves as a bridge between Osan City and its citizens by delivering citizens' lifelong education needs. I think I succeeded in winning the award because these factors. Let's move on to the second question. In what specific ways does National Institute for Lifelong Education facilitated your city's progress, particularly regarding monitoring and evaluation frameworks? The answer is, since 2020, the National Institute for Lifelong Education has been conducting a lifelong learning city designation evaluation every 3 years for the development of a lifelong learning city. Based on this redesigned evaluation system, Osan City manages the overall performance of the learning city and monitors detailed projects to manage operational performance data. In addition, the Osan Lifelong Education Council, consisting of lifelong education experts, is held every year to evaluate the performance of lifelong education in Osan and to establish an external monitoring and evaluation system by consulting on future directions and plans. I heard that there were not many allocated times, so I told you that contests were reduced than the so please understand that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Do we have another city from Korea, perhaps from Suwon? Or
Yeah, nice to meet you.
nice, hello, Mr. Lee. Yes.
Number one question. Please understand that my English is not very good. There are three key factors. First, over 20 years of consistent policy commitment. Since being designated as a lifelong learning city is 2005, Suwon has maintained an unwavering policy direction regardless of change in mayoral leadership. Second, citizen-led learning governance. Suwon built a structure in which citizens participate directly as planners, operators, and evaluator of the learning. Through the Anytime School facilitators, Korea World 언제든 학교 기획단, citizens designed and run their own course. In 2025-17, facilitator organized 98 activities, engaging 8,000 participants. Third, neighborhood-based accessible life learning environment. Through 27 public library within a 10 minutes walk and lifelong learning centers designated in our 44 sub-districts. Suwon is realizing the vision of the 5-minute lifelong learning city, where any resident can access life learning within a 5-minute walk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just having access to learning activities within 5 minutes? This is a big vision. Thank you. Any other cities from Korea? From Yoon-pyun is good? Yes?
Hello. Sawadika. Good afternoon. My name is Sun-hwang, and I work as a lifelong educator at Eunpyeonggu office in Seoul, Korea. It is a real honor for me to share Eunpyeonggu's experience with you today. As a member of the UNESCO Global Network of Learning Cities and a recipient of the UNESCO Learning City Awards, we are very grateful for this opportunity. I will briefly respond to the two questions separately. First, I believe Eunpyeonggu was able to receive these awards because we see lifelong learning not as just one program, but as a strategy for developing the whole city. For us, lifelong learning is not only about education. It is closely connected to civic participation, social inclusion, environmental sustainability, and community development. So we did not just ask, how can we offer more programs? We asked, how can learning make our students' lives better and help our city grow in a better way? I think there are four main reasons behind our success. First, we had a clear vision and long-term direction. Second, we built strong partnership with many local stakeholders. Third, we tried to bring learning closer to people's everyday lives. And fourth, we connected learning with real issues and needs in the community. So in short, Eunpyeonggu's success came from a clear vision, strong partnership, learning close to daily life, inclusiveness, and continuous improvement based on citizen voice. Second question, I believe NIAL plays a very important role in supporting local governments in Korea. Each city carries out lifelong learning policies according to each one's local context. But NIAL provides a national support system so that local governments do not have to manage everything on their own. So I see NIAL not just as a support organization, but as a facilitator that connects regional police and local practice. Its support is especially helpful in monitoring and evaluation. First, NIAL provides common frameworks and tools such as self-evaluation report template and guideline. Second, it shares good examples and evaluation materials from other lifelong learning cities. Third, it helps strengthen the capacity of local officials through workshop, training, and learning opportunities. So, for NIAL helps local governments work in a more evidence-based and sustainable way. For Eunpyeong, receiving the UNESCO Learning City Awards is not the end. We see it as encouragement to keep learning and growing. We also believe that the achievement of one learning city becomes more meaning when it is shared with others. I hope our experience today can make even a small contribution to building more inclusive and sustainable learning city together. Thank you.
Thank you. I really like your keep running and growing because Learning City is one that has no limit on what we can do. Yes. Any other cities from Korea? No? No more? Then may I open for any questions to the speakers from Nile and the three cities from Suwon, Osan, and Yeonpyeong? One from Dr. Bowon. Yes?
Yes. This question 9. Okay, so
The question to Nile, because once people get the credits from the training offered by Nile, what does it mean in practical terms? Are the credits recognized by the business or the industry?
Yes, it can provide an opportunity to serve as community teachers in primary and secondary school in the village and local area, as well as instructor in lifelong learning center, and they may also be invited as community trainer in other regions. I am not exactly sure about specific case connected with the business or industry, but since many companies and universities now wish to work with local communities, there are growing possibility to receive joint commission for community project or to help facilitate such a collaboration.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Please feel to raise your hands using the Zoom function. Kun Ajirapa, I see your hand.
Sorry, I probably have a lot of questions just to, not just for Korea, I think like successful awarded city like Okayama or many city in Korea seem to have some kind of like spatial structure that or organization that really established to support learning city across their country. For example, like in Okayama, we have like SDG plus ESD department or like a unit, and it probably equal to like Department of Education in Thai context. And also for the career, they have like NILE, who basically work as a trainer, supporter, or like any kind to support lifelong learning. So maybe this question go back to the Korea delegate now. Like, do you like if a city who have not yet received the status as GNLC member want to receive the status as member, can they directly reach out to NILE and kind of like do evaluation or training before they apply for it? Because I think this is a very important like organization that help like extend like lifelong learning across the city. And I think it's a question particularly for the Thai context as well, because so many cities rely on university, but we may need some kind of like more serious organization who handle with this situation. Huh.
Okay. Would Mr. Song or other cities would like to respond to this? In a way, it's an open question. Yeah.
I think
maybe I could share my reflections that the learning cities, they also have to really learn and document their process of implementing and expanding the learning city and constantly improve. And as part of that, if you celebrate being a learning city, it helps people and institutions to document and to share, because really documentation or like Niall's experience was helping with the monitoring and reporting and giving national awards to the learning city. It helps the city to document what has been their achievement and to communicate it to the people and to the awarding institutions. Yeah. Actually, I see one of my friends from Korea, Sunok. Do you want to share what some of the secrets or yes? Anything?
Actually, I'm not part of Nile and also the learning cities, but as long as I can share my experience, actually I work for Nile as well. So for the weaker suggestion, I can share you can visit Nile's website, and they published 2 publications about the GNLC, Korean GNLC members' experience. So you can find out 2 publications, so you can find out some secret of the Korean GNLC member cities. Also, the other question about does Nile can connect GNLC member cities and the other cities who which is not the member of GNLC. Actually, basically, when the Korean cities want to be a member of GNLC, they had to be designated by the Korean lifelong learning cities by MOE. So NILE organizes workshops and other the conferences annually for the lifelong learning cities designated by MOE. So maybe they can have the opportunities through this kind of activities. Also, we have the other organizations, which is the local institute for lifelong education at the municipality level. So they can make opportunities for the cities. So they can open the chances to exchange their experience between 2 kinds of cities. Yeah. That's all.
Thank you, Sunok. Yes. I think for learning cities to grow in different countries, the national government support is definitely useful and important. Yeah. In terms really building what was said in the beginning, the ecosystem, learning ecosystem with the public funding support. Yes. Any other questions, or if not, I'm trying to look at this. Can we go to the next session? And I'd like to thank all the speakers from Japan and Korea sharing your experiences. And we are now moving to hear the experiences from Thailand. And I'd like to hand over to Kun Ajirapa, who's moderating the next session.
Thank you, Ms. Rika, so much. And as I mentioned before, we're so lucky to have a great partner. UNESCO Bangkok has been really helpful, even as a person who come from Chiang Mai and involved with the R&D projects with PMUA. I think we have participants from Thailand. So I believe that it's cover every city that we mentioned earlier. Let me check here. We have city from Bangkok, from Chiang Mai, from Chachoengsao, Yala, Phayao, and Phuket. So compared to other country, we are relatively newcomers, new member. If I may, to make everything easier, I will communicate in Thai, and then I will summarize everything and go back with English. So maybe I would like โทษค่ะขออภัยค่ะ so I'll ask the question and then they answer, and then I can say back in English to everybody here. Thank you คุณริกะ again ค่ะค่ะก็จะขออนุญาตต้อนรับนะคะเมืองจากเมืองตากนะคะกรุงเทพสุโขทัยนะคะเชียงใหม่ฉะเชิงเทรานะคะพะเยาแล้วก็ภูเก็ตเข้าใจว่าจริงๆหลายๆเมืองเข้าครบมีเมื่อเช้าเห็นไม่ใช่เมื่อเช้าเห็นทางเชียงรายด้วยนะคะทีเนี้ยค่ะอาจจะขออนุญาตนิดหนึ่งก็คือว่าปกติแล้วทุกเมืองน่าจะทราบดีอยู่แล้วว่าการเป็นสมาชิก GNLC เนี่ยคือเรื่องของ networking เรื่องของการที่เราต้องทำงานร่วมกับระดับนานาชาตินะคะที่ผ่านมาแล้วก็โชคดีที่ ได้การสนับสนุนจากบพท.เองนะคะหรือแม้กระทั่งหลายๆเมืองเนี่ยทำงานกับกสศนะคะร่วมกับทางเทศบาลหรือหน่วยงานท้องถิ่นนะคะจริงๆแล้ววันนี้ค่ะความตั้งใจเนี่ยอยากให้เมืองในประเทศไทยเองเนี่ยได้เห็นวิธีการทำงานในระบบ networking นะคะแล้วก็ต้องขออภัยด้วยว่าในส่วนของภาษาที่ translate อาจจะติดขัดเล็กน้อยแต่ไม่เป็นไรนะคะหลังจากที่เซสชั่นเสร็จแล้วเนี่ยเดี๋ยวเราจะมีการส่งนะคะข้อมูลกลับไปแล้วก็ตอนสุดท้ายเนี่ยเราจะมีการสรุปเป็นภาษาอังกฤษแต่ว่าแฟนจะช่วยแปลภาษาไทยอีกรอบทีนี้อาจจะมี1คำถามค่ะอาจจะขอให้ทุกเมืองแชร์สั้นๆหรือเมืองที่อยากจะแชร์นะคะว่าเราอาจจะเห็นตัวอย่างหลากหลายครั้งที่เทศบาลเองเนี่ยไปมีส่วนร่วมทำงานกับทางบพท.เองหรือมหาลัยในเครือข่ายหรือแม้กระทั่งที่ทีมเราลงไปสัมภาษณ์นะคะสิ่งหนึ่งที่เรามองว่าน่าจะเป็นสิ่งที่แต่ละเมืองช่วยแชร์ได้ก็คือเรื่องของความท้าทายในการทำงานค่ะก็ทุกเมืองสามารถที่จะกดไมค์ตอบได้เลยหรือว่าจะยกมือตอบเลยก็ได้นะคะว่าแต่ละเมืองเนี่ยคิดว่าความท้าทายในการเป็นสมาชิกเมืองแห่งการเรียนรู้ตลอดชีวิตเนี่ยคืออะไรนะคะเริ่มจากเชียงใหม่ดีก่อนไหมคะเริ่มจากเชียงใหม่ค่ะ
ได้ค่ะสวัสดีนะคะชื่ออลิสาค่ะจากเทศบาลนครเชียงใหม่นะคะซึ่งเทศบาลนครเชียงใหม่เนี่ยก็ถือภารกิจในเรื่องของเมืองแห่งการเรียนรู้หรือว่า Learning City นะคะเราเป็นเมมเบอร์ตั้งแต่ปี 2020 นะครับในจากช่วงเวลาที่เราได้ทำงานมาเนี่ยร่วมกับทีมวิจัยแล้วก็พื้นที่ชุมชนอะไรต่างๆเนี่ยเราพบว่าเมืองเรามีองค์ความรู้เยอะมากทั้งเป็นองค์ความรู้ที่แบบดั้งเดิมที่เราเรียกว่าภูมิปัญญามีต้นทุนทางวัฒนธรรมมีมหาวิทยาลัย 3-4 แห่งนะคะแล้วก็มีนักวิชาการมีกลุ่มภาคเครือข่ายองค์กรอิสระหรือว่ามีภาค NGO เยอะมากประชาสังคมเข้มแข็งทีนี้เนี่ยความท้าทายของเราก็คือเราจะรวมทรัพยากรที่มีมากๆเหล่านี้ทั้งเรื่องของคนเรื่องขององค์ความรู้เรื่องของการถ่ายทอดเนี่ยเราจะสร้างแพลตฟอร์มอะไรขึ้นมาเพื่อให้สิ่งเหล่านั้นน่ะถูกนำไปใช้แล้วก็ให้มันอยู่ในชีวิตประจำวันให้มันเกิดขึ้นแบบเป็นธรรมชาติที่เราไม่ต้องเซตติ้งอันนี้คือเป็นความพยายามของเราที่เรากำลังทำอยู่เพราะว่าเชียงใหม่เนี่ยไม่ขาดแคลนพื้นที่แห่งการเรียนรู้ไม่ขาดแคลนองค์ความรู้ไม่ขาดแคลนสถาบันที่ทางวิชาการต่างๆแล้วก็มีชุมชนที่เข้มแข็งแล้วก็มี active citizen เยอะค่อนข้างเยอะนะคะอันนี้ความท้าทายจะเป็นขององค์กรของตัวเราเองมากกว่าที่เราจะรวบรวมสิ่งเหล่านี้ให้เกิดความเป็นเมืองแห่งการเรียนรู้หรือว่า lifelong learning ได้ยังไงนะคะขอแชร์สั้นๆประมาณนี้ขอบคุณค่ะ
ค่ะขอบคุณค่ะมีเมืองอื่นต่อไหมคะหรืออาจจะขออนุญาต approach เลยได้ไหมคะไม่ทราบว่าทางกทมอยู่ไหมคะทางกทมอยู่ด้วยไหมคะ
เปิดไหม
เปิดนะ
ค่ะสวัสดีค่ะหานครนะคะค่ะ
ได้ยินไหมครับ
ได้ยินค่ะได้ยินค่ะ
ถึงกรุงเทพมหานครนะคะคือที่ผ่านมากรุงเทพมหานครเนี่ยเราบริหารจัดการเมืองแห่งการเรียนรู้ของกรุงเทพมหานครเนี่ยเราเน้นการขับเคลื่อนใน4ประเด็นหลักค่ะก็อย่างเช่นเรื่องแรกค่ะเรื่องการยกระดับการดูแลเด็กเล็กนะคะเรื่องที่2ก็เป็นการสร้างโรงเรียนให้เป็นพื้นที่ปลอดภัยแล้วก็เรื่องที่3เป็นเรื่องของการพัฒนาคุณภาพการศึกษาแล้วก็สุดท้ายค่ะก็จะเป็นในเรื่องของการสนับสนุนการเรียนรู้ตลอดชีวิตซึ่งทั้ง4ด้านเนี่ยค่ะเรามั่นใจว่าเรามีองค์ความรู้แล้วก็เครือข่ายในการร่วมกันพัฒนาเนี่ยค่อนข้างมากมายนะคะแล้วเราก็อยากจะมัดรวมทั้ง4ด้านเนี่ยค่ะรวมเป็นแหล่งเรียนรู้ในทั่วพื้นที่กทมเนี่ยผ่านแพลตฟอร์มค่ะที่ตอนนี้เราสร้างแพลตฟอร์มชื่อ Next Learn ซึ่งเราทำร่วมกับกสศนะคะ Next Learn เนี่ยก็คือการรวมแหล่งเรียนรู้ต่างๆนะคะมาไว้ในแพลตฟอร์มให้ประชาชนทุกคนเนี่ยสามารถในทุกวัยด้วยค่ะสามารถเข้าถึงการเรียนรู้เหล่านี้ได้ค่ะแล้วก็ตั้งอยู่ในบนแนวคิดในการพัฒนานิเวศการเรียนรู้ Learning Ecosystem นะคะซึ่งเรามองว่าในการพัฒนา Ecosystem เนี่ยค่ะก็จะประกอบกันด้วย Learning Space นะคะรวมกับ Learning Creator ค่ะ สองส่วนนี้รวมกันเนี่ยก็จะส่งผลให้เกิดกิจกรรมการเรียนรู้ค่ะ learning activity ค่ะซึ่งเราก็กิจกรรมการเรียนรู้ที่มีคุณภาพเนี่ยค่ะก็สามารถเชื่อมต่อในเว็บไซต์ต่างๆได้เป็นผ่านแพลตฟอร์ม NextLearn นะคะซึ่งNextLearn เนี่ยก็รวบรวมหลักสูตรการฝึกอาชีพเป็นแบบ one stop service ค่ะซึ่งมีส่วนร่วมจากภาคีเครือข่ายทั้งภาคเอกชนและภาครัฐนะคะทุกคนสามารถเข้ามีส่วนร่วมในการแบ่งปันความรู้ในแพลตฟอร์มนี้ได้นะคะแล้วก็ซึ่งแพลตฟอร์มนี้เราจะแยกเป็น2ลักษณะด้วยกันค่ะก็คือในเรื่องของ next skill นะคะมุ่งพัฒนาทักษะที่เกิดขึ้นใหม่ซึ่งมีความจำเป็นที่จะต้องนำไปใช้ในอนาคตอย่างเช่นในเรื่องของเทคโนโลยีพวก AI แล้วก็การส่งเสริม sustainable นะคะเรื่องความยั่งยืนต่างๆค่ะอีกด้านหนึ่งค่ะเป็นเรื่องของ next job นะคะซึ่งเป็นหลักสูตรฝึกอาชีพที่พัฒนาร่วมกับผู้ประกอบการภาคเอกชนต่างๆค่ะอันนี้ก็เมื่อประชาชนเข้าไปเรียนนะคะแล้วก็เรียนจบแล้วก็สามารถที่จะไปทำงานกับผู้ประกอบการเหล่านั้นได้ทันทีเลยค่ะส่วนในระยะยาวอะค่ะที่มันท้าทายอะค่ะกทมก็หวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่าเราจะนอกจากจะเป็นคนที่ควบคุมระบบเองอะค่ะเราอยากจะให้ประชาชนนะคะองค์กรแห่งการเรียนรู้เนี่ยเป็นผู้สนับสนุนแล้วก็เราจะถอยมาเป็นผู้สนับสนุนนะคะเป็นผู้อำนวยความสะดวกให้เป็นหลักค่ะเพื่อให้ระบบนิเวศในการเรียนรู้เนี่ยสามารถที่จะขับเคลื่อนแล้วก็หมุนเวียนไปได้ด้วยตัวเองค่ะโดยไม่ต้องพึ่งพาภาครัฐเพียงอย่างเดียวค่ะอันนี้ก็ถือว่าเป็นความท้าทายที่ยากพอสมควรนะคะที่จะส่งเสริมให้เป็นเมืองแห่งการเรียนรู้แล้วก็ถ้ามองว่าประชาชนสามารถทำเองได้อะค่ะก็จะมีความยั่งยืนในท้ายที่สุดค่ะอันนี้เป็นในส่วนของกรุงเทพมหานครค่ะ
ค่ะขอบคุณนะคะเดี๋ยวอาจจะขออนุญาตสรุป2เมืองก่อนเป็นภาษาอังกฤษให้กับ audience นะคะ so we have received like some sharings and answer and also particularly some kind of question back to the floor as well from Chiang Mai and Bangkok. So the question I asked was what is the most challenging things that happen in your city as part of GNLC member? From Chiang Mai, since the city it's a historic city, right? And in terms of learning resources, there's no doubt that there's so many resources. Like we have a lot of cultural asset, and then also university, a lot of like skillful and educated population to help maintain like the ecosystem. But one of the most challenged, one of the difficult thing is that how can we maintain resources among these stakeholders? Because it seems like every partner also want to use and share these resources at the same time. So I think today for Chiang Mai, they have seen some example from Okayama City or other city, even like whatever Bangkok was talking about, like how to manage the platform for the shared resources. And I think I want to throw this question back to the floor as well for city in Korea or even other city across the world who are here. How do you really manage the shared platform about lifelong learning? We know for the fact that it would be about like website, it would be about like online access, but sometimes to have a shared platform to work among these stakeholders is quite challenging for Chiang Mai. And for Bangkok, they were talking about like the 4 pillars that related to as part of GNLC member. They have like Bangkok have like school under their provision that cover from like kids to like primary and secondary school. They promote the programs about like the safe space, the education development and lifelong learning. They have the platform called NextLearn that they work with the EEF Equity Education Fund and to design a program that cover all age. And then for Bangkok, they promote a one-stop service platform that they can share the resources, program and information, aiming to connect like not just student or like normal people, but also connect to like business and industry, like for example like the skill development program. But the most challenging thing for Bangkok, it's about like it seemed like the structure at the moment they rely on the government structure. How can in the near future, how can we develop the ecosystem that a lot of this lifelong education project and initiative, not just focusing on spending the government budget only, but find other partnership to help create like the sustainable like ecosystem. So this is the two cities of Thailand, Chiang Mai and Bangkok. Okay, I think we have Tak, right? ทางตากอยากจะแชร์ไหมคะว่าอะไรเป็นความท้าทายค่ะ
ครับสวัสดีครับผมนายณพล ชัยยานนท์ภักดีนายกเทศมนตรีเมืองตากครับก็จะแชร์เรื่องของแนวคิดนะครับแล้วก็ผลสำเร็จนะครับที่เราได้ดำเนินการนะครับคือที่จังหวัดตากนะครับเรานำในเรื่องของประเพณีลอยกระทงสายแหลมพิธีพันดวงนะแล้วก็ตำนานนักรบนะครับประวัติศาสตร์การสู้รบในสมัยโบราณนะครับของสมเด็จพระเจ้าตากสินมหาราชนะครับมาวางเป็นคิดนะครับแล้วก็วางเป็นรูปแบบในการดำเนินการในเรื่องของ Learning City นะครับโดยที่ว่าเราจะนำประวัติศาสตร์และก็สถานที่สำคัญทางประวัติศาสตร์นะแล้วก็เรื่องของประเพณีนะครับทุกอย่างเอามาผนวกรวมกันนะครับเพื่อสร้างเป็นกระบวนการการเรียนรู้เนี่ยให้กับเยาวชนนะครับแล้วก็กลุ่มทุกกลุ่มนะครับในจังหวัดตากนะครับโดยเฉพาะในเรื่องของเยาวชนที่มีความประสงค์แล้วก็มีความต้องการเนี่ยที่จะเรียนรู้ภายใต้แบบความแนวคิดแบบเรียนรู้ตลอดชีวิตนะครับที่เราก็จะมีรูปแบบกระบวนการตรงนี้ครับให้กับเยาวชนนะครับแล้วสำหรับนักท่องเที่ยวนะครับหรือว่าคนต่างจังหวัดเนี่ยนะครับเราก็จะใช้แนวทางตรงนี้เนี่ยนะครับเป็นแนวทางในเรื่องของการส่งเสริมการท่องเที่ยวนะครับส่งเสริมการเรียนรู้เนี่ยให้มีการศึกษาเรียนรู้ประวัติศาสตร์ระหว่างเมืองนะครับให้นักท่องเที่ยวเนี่ยนะครับได้มาชมแล้วก็ได้มาซึมซับถึงตำนานแล้วก็ประวัติศาสตร์ของเรานะครับโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งเนี่ยในเรื่องของประเพณีลอยกระทงสายนะครับแล้วก็มีการจัดกิจกรรมนะให้ในหลายๆจังหวัดนะครับเข้ามาแลกเปลี่ยนแล้วก็ให้มาศึกษาเนี่ยประเพณีของเราผ่านกระบวนการในเรื่องของการแข่งขันการลูกทุ่งดาวรุ่งกระทงสายนะครับการร้องเพลงการเต้นรำนะครับแล้วก็ได้มาสัมผัสประเพณีลอยกระทงสายกับเราแล้วก็จะทำให้เขาเนี่ยได้เรียนรู้ความเป็นมาเป็นไปเกี่ยวกับความเชื่อในทางพุทธศาสนานะครับแล้วก็ความเชื่อนะครับที่เป็นประเพณีท้องถิ่นของจังหวัดตากนะครับก็ในเรื่องตรงนี้เนี่ยนะครับก็เป็นจุดเด่นที่ทำให้เกิดความน่าสนใจของการเรียนรู้ในจังหวัดตากนะครับรวมถึงเยาวชนนะครับในกลุ่มเยาวชนเนี่ยที่เป็นนักเรียนนะครับก็จะได้ซึมซับในความเป็นเมืองตากมากขึ้นนะครับให้เขารู้จักเมืองแล้วก็ได้รู้จักประวัติศาสตร์ของเมืองนะครับทำให้เขาปรับเปลี่ยนนะครับเมืองทั้งเมืองเนี่ยให้เป็นห้องเรียนขนาดใหญ่นะครับเป็นเมืองที่ทุกสถานที่นะครับเป็นสถานที่เรียนรู้ให้กับคนทุกกลุ่มครับผมครับมีเท่านี้ครับเพิ่ง
เดี๋ยวแฟนเดี๋ยวโทษค่ะเดี๋ยวทางนี้สรุปให้นะคะอาจจะขออนุญาตเสริมประเด็นเรื่องของการทางตากเองทางตอนที่เราทีมเราไปลงสัมภาษณ์ก็จะพูดถึงเรื่องของ migration ด้วยเนาะเรื่องของการที่มีคนที่ย้ายถิ่นฐานมาด้วยส่วนหนึ่งดังนั้นว่าทำเลยเป็นฐานสำคัญนะคะ so the sharing from Tak City just to give you a little bit of information Tak basically is next to Burma so it's a border city. That's why like the issue of lifelong learning has been very helpful in terms of like cultural exchange. So the mayor mentioned about like the cultural based integration and initiative. So they believe that when we talk about culture, it's help reduce the stress of like belief and economic background, and that's why culture tradition or cultural exchange become the key idea for lifelong learning for them. For the city of Tak to improve, to encourage people to participate with the local tradition, as well as using the space that related to the cultural tradition to to participate and learn about their local culture, particularly for youth and all age, because I think the knowledge transmission of a traditional culture is really important. Another thing, it's about like working directly with migrate people or minority on migration. By law and regulation, this is quite challenging for Thai contexts. Those who don't have like a proper document will be really difficult to them to access the fundamental education. And that's why turning some space of the city by demonstrating the culture practices also allow these people to be part of the lifelong learning. So that is the key answer from that. มีเมืองอื่นไหมคะพะเยานะคะขอพะเยาอีกสักหนึ่งเมืองนะคะเชิญทางพะเยาได้เลยค่ะพะเยาไม่ทราบว่าเชียงรายยังอยู่ในนี้ไหมคะเพราะว่าเชียงรายเป็นเมืองแรกของประเทศไทยที่ได้เมืองแห่งการเรียนรู้ค่ะจากระยะแชร์สั้นๆโดยเฉพาะเรื่องความท้าทายก็ได้ค่ะ
อยู่ค่ะได้ยินไหมคะ
ได้ยินค่ะเชิญเซาด้วยใช่ไหมคะ
อยู่ค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ
ค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะได้ยินไหมคะค่ะในฐานะของจังหวัดเชียงรายนะคะจังหวัดเชียงรายในฐานะของเทศบาลนครเชียงรายค่ะเราได้เป็นเมืองแห่งการเรียนรู้เมืองแรกของประเทศไทยค่ะแล้วเรามีความพยายามในการลดความเหลื่อมล้ำทางด้านการศึกษาระหว่างเยาวชนและผู้สูงอายุอะค่ะเข้าร่วมด้วยกันเพื่อต่อยอดในการพัฒนาเมืองด้วยวิสัยทัศน์ของท่านนายกเทศมนตรีนครเชียงรายอะค่ะท่านก็เลยนำความคิดตรงนี้ค่ะมาแก้ไขปัญหาความท้าทายในเรื่องของสภาพอากาศที่เปลี่ยนแปลงแล้วก็อย่างแผ่นดินไหวที่จังหวัดเชียงรายได้รับผลกระทบปัญหาน้ำท่วมที่เราได้รับผลกระทบเมื่อปลายปีที่แล้วค่ะแล้วก็ล่าสุดอาจจะเป็นเรื่องของเศรษฐกิจและสังคมในปัจจุบันที่ตอนนี้ทางท่านนายกเทศมนตรีนครเชียงรายกำลังหาแหล่งเรียนรู้หรือว่าหาแนวทางในการจัดการเรียนรู้ของคนในชุมชนนะคะเพื่อให้เกิดชุมชนเกิดความยั่งยืนแล้วก็เกิดการเรียนรู้ได้ด้วยตนเองโดยที่ทางเราเป็นตัวสนับสนุนและซัพพอร์ตค่ะอันนี้น่าจะเป็นแนวทางแล้วก็ความท้าทายที่ทางเทศบาลเราอยากจะทำให้มันเกิดขึ้นแล้วก็ช่วยลดความเหลื่อมล้ำไม่มากก็น้อยไม่จะเป็นในเรื่องของด้านการศึกษาก็ดีแล้วก็เรื่องของเศรษฐกิจรายได้ที่มีผลกระทบในปัจจุบันค่ะ
มากเลยค่ะก็เดี๋ยวขออนุญาตถามก็จะสรุปเป็นภาษาอังกฤษทั้งฉะเชิงเซาอยากจะแชร์ไหมคะเดี๋ยวถ้าจะ
สวัสดีครับ
ค่ะ
สำหรับฉะเชิงเซานะครับ so เชิงเซา municipality we are a member of GNLC since 2020 we are committed to strengthening lifelong learning as the key of driver for sustainable development and community well-being. To prepare for GNLC Award in the future, the municipality has been developed a strategic plan focusing on inclusion, innovation, and collaboration. First, the city will expand access the learning opportunity to all the citizens in the city. This includes improving community learning center, library, and digital platform to ensure that people of all ages, children, youth, adults, and the elderly can easily access knowledge and skills. Special attention will be given the vulnerable group to reduce inequality. The second, The municipality will promote learning through real-life activity and local identity. Events such as a Chachengsao Coffee Festival or 8ริ้ว Field Fair will continue to serve as creative learning space where citizens, entrepreneurs, and organizations can exchange the knowledge, develop skills, and support the local economy. More community-based programs will be designed to connect learning with daily life. Third, a strong partnerships will be strengthened across sector collaboration between government agency, education institution, and private sector and civil society will be enhanced to the co-create learning in initiative that respond to community need. For the city will align its learning policy with the Sustainable Development Goal, focusing on quality education, sustainable city, and inclusive growth. Finally, a monitoring and evaluation system will be developed to track progress and ensure continued improvement. To this strategy, Chachengsao aim to become the model learning city that promote lifelong learning for all and achieve sustainable development in the long term ครับ
เลยค่ะ ขอบคุณมากเลยค่ะ so I think Changsha has like expressed their like idea and concept of Changsha city. I would like to go back to Chiang Rai where they talk about like because Chiang Rai is the first city that become GNLC member of Thailand. So at the beginning, Chiang Rai mayor see the opportunity to adopt the international framework for of becoming GNLC member to reduce the inequality education, and particularly the context of Chiang Rai. It's about the environment disaster, and so they have faced many like severe disaster like earthquake, and the most recent thing is about big flooded. So the question is, how can these international framework help to build resilient back to the community? And that's why their initiative, and which now also become a big challenge, it's about community education base, how the education can be promoted through local community, and how to encourage local community to take part as lifelong learning. Because when we talk about the context of Chiang Rai and Tak, our research team also see the similarity at these two cities are a border city that's connect to Burma, and that's why migration is also part of the factor that they should consider as well. So and for Changsha, we know for the fact that it's Changsha is the area of the industrial city as well, and that's why like building inclusion, like working among like many people from different background is also challenging, and how can the city promote like using the city space to be part of lifelong learning. So I think now we at the perfect time. So thank you so much. Thank you like all Thai city. Thank you Chiang Mai, Bangkok, Tak, Chachengsao, and Chiang Rai for your answer, and also like thanks to like city like Sukhothai, นะคะ Yala, นะคะ Phayao, and Phuket who participate today. As we have quite a limitation of time, so I would like our team to speak a little bit before we go to the Q&A question. Please like prepare for Q&A, or if you don't feel comfortable speaking, you can type on the box, on the text box, and then we can pick it up and answer. And after that, we will have like a short summary from Dr. Alexandra Dennis in English, and I will do it in Thai. And then I think we take quite like good time today, so we finished the session with the summary. So can I please pass the microphone to Professor Pathana?
I learned a lot today, from UN, from UNESCO, from representative from Japan, Korea, and most of all from the Thai representative cities. I feel like and it is something that I really want to show my appreciation that we have everyone here start to have this meaningful dialogue. For me myself, based on examples from UN itself, from UNESCO itself, and also from Korean and Japan, to compare against what we have learned from the Thai cities here, I feel like there's so many issues happen in the cities, in the local context. The key things is I think what mentioned is that in order to work translating from we already have become a member and to be able to follow the award criteria, the key thing is measurable, right? And also how do we know what all of the activity or implementations are actually working, right? So we can go broad, but then in that case, for example, we heard a lot from cities from Thailand. There's so many issues that we want to attack, but then if we go very broad, then it will be really hard to get to measure, to get the data to be collected. If we cannot measure, then we don't know where exactly we are right now at that particular issue. I mean, of course, we cannot pick only one issue to tackle, but we can do broad, but then we probably pick some main issue. We have to do prioritization on exactly which is the main issue for our city and how we attack them, what's implementation we do, how are we going to actually assess it. So I can talk a bit about my view of seeing, for example, in Japan, right? So Japan, when we talk about learning city, of course there's so many issues, but then Japan tying learning together with, sustainability. Of course, I know Japan probably have done so many things other than sustainability, but focusing on sustainability, but doing deep, also in Korea, like talking about lifelong educations. Each of the city come to the same system at the NEO. I believe each of the city attack lifelong learning in some particular area. When we talk about learning, of course, there's so many topics about learning, but that particular area will probably attack on, like historical learning, or maybe some of the area near industrial, they probably attack on reskill, upskill for the people in the community. So I think last word for me, I think, measurable, knowing what we are at the moment and aim for what we are going is very key, so then we know exactly if we are working well, on approaching that goals. Priority is very important. I think we need to pick, some area that we have to dig down on. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much ค่ะ so briefly in Thai again คือจริงๆวันนี้ก็ได้เรียนรู้กันหลายอย่างนะคะสิ่งที่อาจารย์ปรารถนาอยากจะอาจจะฉายภาพกลับไปสำหรับเมืองในประเทศไทยโดยเฉพาะเนี่ยบางครั้งเนี่ยแต่ละเมืองเนี่ยมักเราอยากทำทุกเรื่องเนาะเราอยากทำทุกประเด็นมองภาพใหญ่แต่ถ้าเราดูตัวอย่างวันนี้ไม่ว่าจะเป็นทางของระดับนานาชาตินะคะข้อมูลจากทาง UNESCO จากทาง UN หรือแม้กระทั่งจากโดยเฉพาะญี่ปุ่นนะคะแล้วก็เกาหลีเนี่ยเราจะเห็นว่าเราทราบแหละว่าแต่ละเมืองมีหลากหลายประเด็นแต่อาจจะต้องลอง prioritize หรือว่าให้ลองเรียงลำดับความสำคัญแบบว่าในการเป็นสมาชิกเมืองแห่งการเรียนรู้เนี่ยมันไม่ได้เป็นวันนี้แล้วพรุ่งนี้มันออกนะคะมันเป็นไปตลอดดังนั้นเรามีเวลาอย่างยาวนานก็อาจจะยาวนานกว่าเราที่จะมีชีวิตอยู่บนโลกนี้ก็ได้อาจจะต้องลอง prioritize ว่า แต่ละพื้นที่แต่ละแอเรียแต่ละประเด็นของแต่ละเมืองเนี่ยอยากจะทำอะไรก่อนนะคะจริงๆเห็นด้วยกับทางเชียงรายก็คือว่าตอนนี้ชัดเจนแล้วว่าเรื่องของ disaster เรื่องของภัยพิบัติหลักเป็นหลักดังนั้นเนี่ยจะทำไงให้เกิดการใช้ lifelong education เนี่ยเพื่อสร้างความยืดหยุ่นให้เมืองมันยืดหยุ่นมากขึ้นนะคะ so I'm going to move to the Q&A session if any of you have question you can raise your hand or you can type on the box นะคะเมืองอื่นเมืองในไทยมีคำถามไหมคะมีคำถามไหมคะ because we spend quite a lot of time but if you don't have direct question or you cannot really like process the question for the moment so please be informed that we are now connected through email right now and also like if you check the message box a lot of cities start sharing their material and I think that's good thing about technology that we can learn right away so if I may that if there is no question on the floor I think we have exchanged quite enough so I'm going to pass this to Dr. Alexander Dennis to basically wrap up everything yeah no it's like a summary like the key takeaway from her expertise and then like I hope that it would be very useful for every participant so she will do everything in English and then I'll translate and do everything in Thai
Thank you so much. And I feel very honored to have this opportunity to have these last words of this exchange today, especially because, as I said at the beginning, I'm actually an expert in cultural heritage, and so I feel in a way a bit of like I'm a bit of an outsider to the Learning City, but certainly not an outsider to UNESCO's initiatives. And I want to also advocate and say that there are so many strong connections, of course, between culture and education, and we've seen so many of those examples today. So maybe just to begin by building a bit on the point that was just made a moment ago by Ajahn Pratana, Dr. Pratana, about the importance of not trying to do everything as a learning city. And we can see from all of the wonderful examples of learning cities today that those that have achieved successes and been able to strengthen their learning ecosystems, that they have focused on their existing strengths and cultural assets. And I want to go back to one of the words that Dr. Ajirapa used for this, a sort of the core DNA of the city. I think this is so important to really have this assessment of the city's strengths, its resources, cultural practices, traditions, local knowledge, and to have that be the starting point and foundation. And we heard so many examples today from our peers that reflected this, whether it was in Okayama with the discussion of the komikans, and also several examples from Korea that showed us how this building on the existing strengths of the city is absolutely vital for creating the strong and resilient learning cities. And I also actually wanted to say a bit about the award application process itself, because this is actually how I came into this Learning City project and initiative, was by participating in the and supporting the process of the award application in Chiang Mai. And I actually think it's a very valuable process as part of a, really can also be seen as a governance mechanism. That is not just about seeking recognition and getting the award, but that the process of really studying what the award application requires, it's this opportunity to take stock collectively among all of the stakeholders to discuss openly what has been achieved, but also to identify the gaps and to try to forge a shared direction. And this is something that we were able to do here in Chiang Mai. For example, in January 2025, a while ago now, in the strategic planning workshop that the research team helped to organize, brought together 33 different participants from across a variety of stakeholders: the governor's office, municipality, Chiang Mai University, the Creative Economic Agency, schools, community organizations, civil society, and missing any of them? TCEP, yeah. And one of the things that we discovered in this forum was that many of the stakeholders felt that they were, working in similar areas and trying to strengthen learning and lifelong learning, but there wasn't a shared forum. This was one of the first times they had all come together to really talk about their shared initiatives. So this was a moment of collective reflection and anchored around a concrete goal of the award and applying for the award. So, and I think the question that this raised was how to create this kind of reflection and collaboration in a more regular and sustained way. Because of course, all these stakeholders are incredibly busy. Everybody, whether it's the schools, governing agencies, university, various organizations and civil society. So how to build in a kind of really a system for bringing these stakeholders together. And I think we got some examples of that today that were really very informative and could be models to study, whether it's the Nile example from Korea or again the example from Okayama. And I think we still probably need to learn more, right? Speaking now from the Thailand network, that how is this actually done from in a systematic way, like even down to, the question of budget for this organization, this sort of central organization, question of how often are meetings held between stakeholders, how to understand the sort of liaising and communication that needs to happen between different stakeholders. Because it's clear that a lot is happening, but not everybody knows what everyone else is doing, right? And and this is, of course, the term that we often use for this is the sort of siloization. Everyone has their own particular budget and their own particular KPI and timeline, but how to create synergies between those. And so I think this is one of the big benefits of the award process, is actually looking at what structures are in place, what structures are need to be put in place to support more stakeholder communication and sharing. So, and at this meeting, and I think probably most of the Thai learning cities would agree, is that this sort of siloization is one of the biggest obstacles. And so you have the schools, universities, civil society organizations all doing valuable work, but not necessarily communicating, saying how can we be on the same path. And then another challenge that arose from this award preparation process is just budget and policy discontinuity. For example, here in Chiang Mai, there's a much celebrated Laksut Rak Chiang Mai, or the Love Chiang Mai curriculum. This was in the past historically developed with the strong local vision and community energy, but it lost funding when the administration changed. So, and of course, a learning city ecosystem can't just run on enthusiasm and short-term project grants. There has to be continuity, has to be sustainability. So there is then this question of how to closely examine how budgets are operating. We do know from the process of writing the developing the award, Chiang Mai Municipality allocates 20 to 25% of its budget to cultural and educational activities, which is significant. But how to ensure that the learning city coordination specifically is protected within that envelope. And then, so monitoring and evaluation, this has already been raised very importantly. Again, the award process, really, you can't get around it, right? You have to face the reality. How are we monitoring and evaluating learning outcomes? And we saw, again, wonderful examples from Okayama that we don't have to have thousands and thousands of participants in any given learning activity. The aims and targets can be more modest, but nonetheless they should be there, and it should be clear what those monitoring and evaluation mechanisms are. And this was something that at this particular stakeholder meeting, the governor's office itself was very honest that for at the time being, the criteria for the 4-level monitoring system, it's still insufficiently defined. There are participation numbers, but it's really hard to measure learning outcomes. And in the Chiang Mai case, I think this is particularly true. And maybe this relates to the earlier point about how do you measure quality of life improvement? How do you measure the sort of benefits of participating and learning from ritual traditions, or participating in the Yipeng festival? Or how are you going to measure these qualitative value that are derived from cultural learning, right? So I think this is a big challenge for Chiang Mai, because so much of Chiang Mai's kind of learning city identity is grounded in culture. So to figure out how to do that. And then really just the vision coherence. So yeah, what is the overarching narrative and story that each city tells? So I think I can wrap up there, but just to say that I think this has been a really wonderful sharing opportunity, and I myself have also learned a great deal, as I always feel I learn every time I've joined these Learning City events. So thank you all, and thank you to the organizers.
I would take this opportunity to do the short summary in Thai. ก็ช่วงแรกอาจารย์ก็ฉายภาพให้ดูนะคะว่าจริงๆแล้วพอเราเป็นสมาชิกเหมือนกันรู้เนี่ย แม้ว่าเราจะมีหน่วยงานกลางหลายๆหน่วยงานที่ช่วย connect เราด้วยกันหรือว่าเชื่อมโยงเราด้วยกันเนี่ยแต่ว่าถ้ามองจริงๆเนี่ยเราจะมองว่าการจะมีงานแบบนี้หรือมีกิจกรรมแบบนี้ที่เรียกว่า collective action หรือว่า collective reflection เนี่ยค่อนข้างน้อยก็อาจจะเป็นประเด็นที่ในเมืองไทยเองหรือบริบทโดยรวมของไทยโดยเฉพาะเนี่ยน่าจะต้องวางแผนหรือพิจารณานะคะว่าอาจจะต้องมีการประชุมหรือการหารือแบบนี้กับหน่วยงานที่เกี่ยวข้องเนี่ยบ่อยมากขึ้นเพื่อที่จะได้เข้าใจระบบโครงสร้างการทำงานต่างๆเนื่องจากว่าทุกเมืองก็มีในสิ่งที่อยากทำมีโปรเจกต์มีสิ่งที่หลากหลายมากนะคะอันต่อมาอาจารย์พูดถึงว่าโอเคเราเข้าใจว่าการเป็นเมืองแห่งการเรียนรู้ตลอดชีวิตเนี่ยต้องทำงานร่วมกับผู้คนที่หลากหลายแต่เราอาจจะต้องมองว่าอะไรที่เป็นระบบที่ชัดเจนที่สามารถที่จะดึงความหลากหลายของคนที่มีส่วนร่วมเนี่ยให้เขามาเป็นส่วนหนึ่งของการเรียนรู้ตลอดชีวิตแล้วได้รับประโยชน์อย่างจริงจังนะคะอันต่อมาเนี่ยพูดถึงเรื่องของสิ่งที่ครอบคลุมไปถึงเรื่องของความท้าทายที่เราพูดถึงก่อนอันนี้ไม่ว่าจะเป็นเรื่องของการเมืองที่เปลี่ยนแปลงในแต่ละพื้นที่เนี่ยก็มีผลต่อเรื่องของการจัดการงบประมาณแม้ว่าถ้าเราตั้งคำถามไปแล้วเราบอกว่าโอเคงบประมาณมีสนับสนุนในเรื่องของการศึกษาตลอดชีวิตแต่มันก็เกิดคำถามต่อไปว่าในระบบไซโลที่เรามีอยู่ระบบที่ต้องเป็นแบบท็อปดาวลงมาหรืออะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะเรื่องของความต่อเนื่องของงบประมาณเนี่ยเกิดได้ขึ้นจริงมากน้อยแค่ไหนหรือมีแผนที่ชัดเจนมากน้อยแค่ไหนที่จะจัดสรรงบประมาณดังกล่าวนะคะอีกอันหนึ่งที่เป็นความท้าทายในบริบทของประเทศไทยซึ่งวันนี้เนี่ยได้เรียนรู้จากที่อื่นแล้วก็คิดว่าเป็นเรื่องที่เมืองหลายๆเมืองก็ตั้งประเด็นขึ้นมาที่อาจารย์ปรารถนาบอกไปแล้วก็คือเรื่องของการที่จะไปติดตามผลแล้วก็ประเมินนะคะดังนั้นเนี่ยการประเมินไม่ใช่แค่การพยายามส่งรายงานทุก2ปีที่เราต้องส่งแต่หมายถึงการประเมินและติดตามผลเรื่องของการใช้งบประมาณให้เกิดประโยชน์จริงๆแล้วผู้ที่ได้รับประโยชน์เนี่ยเป็นคนในพื้นที่จริงๆซึ่งเราจะเห็นตัวอย่างของโอกายาม่าวันนี้เนี่ยที่แฟนถามไปก็คือว่าเฮ้ยตัวเลขเขาหลักพันแต่เขาตอบมาว่าจริงๆการจะทำตัวเลขหลักพันหมายความว่าการสำรวจตัวเลขหลักพันเนี่ยมันดูเหมือนน้อยแต่มันลึกและมันยากหมายความว่าเขาอันนี้ขอ wording ของเขาเลยนะคะว่าเขาอาจจะมีข้อสงสัยว่าการพัฒนาอย่างยั่งยืนจริงๆที่ไปพัฒนาคุณภาพชีวิตเนี่ยมันเป็นเหมือนสิ่งที่เราไม่รู้ว่าจะเกิดขึ้นเมื่อไหร่แต่สิ่งที่รู้แน่นอนก็คือว่าหากกิจกรรมหรือโครงการที่เราทำเนี่ยมันเข้าไปทำให้คนที่เข้าร่วมเกิดการเปลี่ยนแปลงด้านความคิดด้านพฤติกรรมสิ่งเหล่านี้ต่างหากที่จะช่วยขยายผลต่อไปในอนาคตนะคะแล้วก็อีกอันหนึ่งที่อาจารย์อเล็กพูดถึงก็คือเรื่องของความสอดคล้องกันของเรื่องวิสัยทัศน์ต่างๆที่ในแต่ละเมืองเนี่ยซึ่งก็เป็นส่วนหนึ่งที่เกี่ยวข้องกับทางอาจารย์ปรารถนาก็คือว่าทุกเมืองอยากทำทุกอย่างมีวิชั่นที่ตัวเองตั้งไว้แต่การไปถึงเป้าหมายนั้นเนี่ยมันอาจจะต้องให้การเรียงลำดับความสัมพันธ์เกิดขึ้นก่อนแล้วก็มองเรื่องถึงเรื่องความยั่งยืนต่างๆที่สอดคล้องกันนะคะก็จะเป็นประมาณนี้ค่ะ so I will switch back perfect timing we finished before our schedule and in Thai we have the word เกรงใจ like very difficult to translate into English that today we cannot really I can say in on behalf of everybody here on behalf of like all the 13 cities here and everyone here and host organization from like CNIT and Chiang Mai University that we are really overwhelmed by your like hospitality joining our event today and we hope that this event will not be just the first time the only time but it should be the first time that keep maintaining our connection and network with Learning City in Thailand, Learning City across the globe, and also like the organization like from UN, UNESCO, UIL, like NEIL and SDG, ESD from like Japan. So I would like to say thank you, and thank you, and thank you again to everybody here, and hopefully that we can connect through like email and we we promised to send you all the material we received today through email, and hope you have a great time. So just to say good evening, goodbye. Like hope you have a good time after this. Thank you so much. ขอบคุณค่ะ oh last session for the photo นะคะ for the photo. Sorry, can I please ask everybody to turn on the camera again, and we would take like the final photo. Okay. Can smile. Do you have like any gesture like learning? Okay, just smile then นะคะไม่เป็นไรมันจะดูแปลกๆนะคะสมัยก็ได้ Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. โอเคค่ะขอบคุณมากๆค่ะ Thank you so much ค่ะ 감사합니다. And I thank you. I just try to speak every language here. Thank you so much. ขอบคุณค่ะ